All righty then. We are back at the DTV studios. It's your boy, Mike. We got Tony producing.
That's right, sir.
Another episode, a very special episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. Our first guest.
I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Dude, we go back to watching him, and I'll take these off right now. We go back to watching him, Tony and I, months, within the last year, early last year, start of last year, and hooked on his content, hooked on his personality. And I mean, I'm just going to say it really quick. If you want to join in with me, know what you hold, baby. As we introduce Eco, let's go.
Let's go. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing today, y'all?
On, dude.
Bro, I'm amazed. I'm happy. Thank you very much for having me on. Yep, you got to know what you hold. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that slogan and then the song drops. It's always the cherry on top when we're watching your stuff.
I appreciate it. I love all your support.
Oh, dude, of course. I mean, you're an educator in the space of Web3, and we had a great phone call a couple weeks ago leading up to this, and we got to know each other a little more. Down to earth dude, really like just awesome, and happy to build this relationship together and keep going, brother.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah.
So
it's been an amazing roller coaster. I mean, we had a really good conversation the other day, and again, I know that you're going through some rough times right now, with the wreck and everything, but I'm proud of you, bro.
Oh, thank you, dude.
God doesn't put obstacles in front of us to not overcome them.
100 million percent. That was definitely a test of faith for sure, that moment. But appreciate those kind words. But I know you're always educating, and I know you have so many awesome fans that watch you. And I'm watching you, Tony and I are watching you, and we're thinking, do they know anything about him? I feel like you're always educating, and I think it would be dope if people got to know you a little bit more, where you're from, how you got into the space, all those little nitbits and tidbits.
Yeah, absolutely. So, everybody knows me by, Echo X, Echo the Truth, whatever anybody wants to call me by, right? But my name is William Chen, and in my real life, I go by Will, right? I was an outgoing personality person that had a lot of friends, right? And this was obviously way before 2020 happened. I grew up in Houston, Texas, but I live in Kentucky. I'm a single father. I do have an amazing sister, right? A twin sister, and of course my mom is still around, and my deadbeat father is somewhere doing something.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I know how that is with the father stitch. Sometimes just doesn't it how it works out, but you got a good mama.
Exactly. She's been taking, she loved me to death. She takes care of me. She makes sure that I'm a mama boy, right?
I'm right here with you. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and she's been cheering me on throughout this whole entire journey, right? Because what I'm going through is kind of like, it's very spiritual. And this is why I mentioned my father, because everything that, I went through in my life, as far as like seeing me grow up and how my father reacted towards like taking care of us, and what he's doing right now, because he's actually a priest or a pastor that at a Chinese church. And it's crazy, right? and he only went down that route because he knew the money, the tax benefits, some of the corruption,
like
right?
A wolves in sheep's clothing type of personality there.
Absolutely. So I didn't like that, and it helped me understand what I'm going through right now, because after I got baptized, right, and I switched religion from being Buddhist, I switched it to being Christianity, right? And this was when I was like 16 or 16 or 17, right? And then that's when my dad started like, going to like following me to church and whatnot. And he started going and digging into like, I guess, in the business side of things.
That's crazy, bro. You're over here getting close to God. He's getting close to the devil. That's hilarious.
I know, exactly. So that's why I mentioned like him. It's because like, I know that it sounds bad when I say deadbeat, but for me, I'm like, that's not at least for me, I don't feel like that was my father after he figured out like the financial side of things, right? And this led me to where I am right now to this day, to going through this evolutionary spiritual awakening process that I'm going through, right? also at the same time is the era I grew up in. I mean, you and I and Tony, we all went, we all grew up during this era of not using or not even having probably technology, right?
Yeah, we like grew up with it. It was like boop, 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 boop. As we got older, it got older. It's like our stepbrother and sister. It's crazy.
Bro, I remember using cassette tapes, homie. Like it's like not just in VCRs, right?
Yeah,
you got it.
We got the cassette player over here. I mean, I was just going to show. I don't know if Tony could get it. The boom box is over here, hidden behind.
Oh snap! There we go.
But yeah, we're in that era here. This is that place for sure. It's the best era for sure.
So like we grew up during that era of like evolutionary technology, and we're probably one of the one of the only few generations that actually are going through this, right? Kids nowadays, like my son, me being a single father, my son will never know what it feels like not to use technology or not to have technology.
Yeah, I always say we're the last generation that grew up like every other generation with the childhood of like playing in the dirt, drinking the hose water, bikes in the front lawn, knowing whose house they're at, type of upbringing. And then when we hit like elementary school, like 5th grade, 6th grade era is when it's like, here's the flip phone. And then here's like all this stuff, video now and this and this and this. And it's just been growing since. It's crazy.
Nonstop.
We appreciate it. I feel like we're the generation that understands the importance of the past and and also the good stuff that technology in the future could bring. And it's like, here's this happy balance, happy medium we can create with, like-minded people coming together.
Absolutely. And you have to be on kind of like on that higher frequency level, right? You start, or at least for me, like whenever I was growing up, learning the technology or adopting to the technology, but also at the same time, it's like learning about the spiritual side of things, right? And that was always on the back end. It never really took full effect again until 2020. 2020, it was just like blockchain technology came into my life. And I'm like, holy crap, what's this? Crypto. Getting into Ethereum, right, and watching that sucker move, it made me like want to learn about it because I came from a financial background. I'm a former mortgage banker, so I knew how the monetary system sort of worked at that time, working under several banks and credit unions, but also learning about taxes, how to file taxes. When you go and apply for a mortgage, or somebody goes and applies for like a rental property and investment property and stuff like that, you got to know these underwriting guidelines. Hello?
You're in there. You're in there. We go solo sometimes.
My bad. I'm tripped out.
It's like the flow.
Sometimes you see him like that. Yeah.
But you don't want to
see.
You
good. Okay, bet. Okay, so whenever I was when I was a mortgage banker, right, I started understanding like how the financial system really started working. I started questioning about everything that happened back in 2008, because in 2008, the 2009, the mortgage crisis collapsed. My family, we lost everything. My parents lost everything. Like there were moments in time that I went through, that a lot of us went through. But for me, my family, we lost everything to a point that I was sleeping in my car at sometimes days. I had to work at a Chinese restaurant for 16 hours just to be able to get out of the burden that I was in, or what we were in, right? Thank God that, whenever I was able to come back to Kentucky, right, because I was at Houston at the time, I was able to come back to Kentucky. My grandmother gave us a second chance, right? And from that point on, I started, always had it in the back of my mind, like, okay, the financial system was always corrupt. What was the problem? Why did it happen? But it never reoccurred back to me until I became a mortgage banker and started learning about everything about Fannie Mae, about Freddie Mac, about the corruption, about Bernie Sanders, and all of that. Fast forward to the day right now, when we're in blockchain technology and learning about the banking sector, me covering the U.S. debt clock information, learning about and talking about XRP and the evolutionary changes we are going through right now. Everything I've learned in my life helped me understand what is happening.
On not just the physical, but again, the spiritual aspect, and that kind of like, if you look at the landscape of like Hollywood and all that stuff, you get your answers basically. Who they are following, what they're worshiping on that side of stuff. It's clear as day for sure.
People don't want to believe it.
No. Well, it's almost like, remember, we have the Matrix on behind us, and we have Terminator. Tony put these on. We have which one? Which Terminator is that, Tony?
Oh, the second one, Judgment Day.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Good call.
And it's just like the lady in the red dress, you know, when Neo gets distracted, it's and the agent comes up. It's the same thing. Everyone's essentially an agent that's sleeping. And so that's why I kind of don't blame people sometimes, you know. I almost am like, I could have easily just been there as well. You know what I mean? It's tough. It is tough because they're almost like NPCs. A lot of people I talk to when we go out on weekends and stuff, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you have no idea what's going on in this world right now.
No. And you have to ask questions, right? And that's where, you know, again, like everything that I've ever gone through in my life helped me build up to this point. At first, you know, I maybe, you know, I always think to myself, right? Like, is this really possible? You know, I always question, like, hey, is this really possible? And then every single time I would, like, you know, come up against like somebody or someone or something that may make me think that, hey, maybe this is not possible. I always find that there's always a confirmation that, hey, something that's happening on the back end that makes me understand and know that this is 100% possible, right? That we are living in the matrix, that there's two different worlds, right? There's two different timelines that are running side by side simultaneously.
Yeah. And where you're vibing is where you're living, basically.
Absolutely. Because we manifest our own reality, right? Ultimately, you know, at the end of the day, you could choose to live in the matrix or choose not to live in the matrix, right? No matter what, at least right now, the matrix is living side by side with me, or living side by side with us. But in my opinion, you know, the switch is, you know, it's eventually going to weave itself out, and you're going to have only one ledger running at one time, one world, right? Now, depending on where you want to be at in this world is going to depend on, you know, your decisions you make right now.
Oh,
right?
100%.
So what I tell people is, like, you know, you don't have to have $1 million to make it. You just have to because even if you have money, I don't feel like even if you have money, that when we make it onto their side, you're not going to be able to comprehend the evolutionary change that we're about to shift. Like, they call it a quantum shift, right? That's what President Trump said, a quantum leap that we're going to go through. And I'm over here like, yeah, we're definitely going to go through a quantum leap, because quantum is just blockchain to me. You know, a basic level of blockchain is quantum, right? Because everybody talks about a QFS system that we're about to go through, quantum financial system. Yeah, we're going to go through a quantum financial system. By the way, everybody, don't fall for these QFS scams, okay? Crypto 101 right there. But when we're going through this quantum shift that we're about to go through, it's about to you know, take the money that the legacy system that we're on and shift it over to something more efficient, more efficient, more fast,
more free too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as well versed as you. That's why we have you here, and we love that you're taking your time out here. But one thing it does scream to me is freedom. And if you do look at your history and go back, the people in control aren't going to stop being evil. It's just like not going to happen. So it's really time for us to come together collectively, the collective consciousness, and raise it up, take over, dethrone these elite satanic losers, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it all narrowed down to the money. Like, I know it's like, you don't have to have love for money, but just the understanding of how money works. Right. And I'm not telling anybody, hey, you have to understand like fully how to understand APR and APY and stuff, but at least know the basic understanding that gold and silver is God's money.
Exactly.
Gold, silver, and copper are God's money.
100%.
Exactly. And anything outside of that is not, right? So this paper dollar that I talk about, this Federal Reserve note, this fiat currency, it never worked ever in history. You've seen so many great economists, so many influencers talk about the fiat currency. It's not, you know, it's not a given secret. It's just, you know, that's the matrix right there. That currency is the matrix. If you believe in that type of monetary system. In my opinion, like you mentioned, you know, the new blockchain quantum system that we go through is going to help us be free because we're utilizing technology that, in my opinion, that humans cannot compare to, or they have to work together with.
100%.
Like technology and human. This is the first. Well, let me rephrase that. This is the first time in human history where we're going to have AI and blockchain and humans work together to be able to dethrone the money changers. This is where we're going through biblical times, right? The spiritual side of things.
Right.
We've had, even if you understand the understanding that gold, silver, and copper are real money, you go back and look at history of the monetary system, we've tried to go back to gold and silver before, but every single time they always taken over. They've always came back and taken over the system.
Right.
In order for us to break free from the system, we have to utilize this technology, right? To be able not to just break free, but to secure our financial future and prosperity.
100%.
Exactly. That's the only way I see us actually making it out. This is where we do have to raise up to the higher conscious understanding, have faith, because man, it's a dark world out there. It is an extremely dark world.
Dude, it is crazy. You could get lost. I mean, the show Down the Rabbit Hole, I mean, you literally could get lost with all of it. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, when I was researching, like going down the information, right? And even on the surface level where I got into cryptocurrency back in 2020, right? Rolled Ethereum up. And then I was like, hey, what is this Ethereum? Like, this is not a stock, obviously, right? Because this thing is, is technology. So I started digging in and researching what blockchain really was. I started, researching that. I researched what Bitcoin was, right? I became a Bitcoin maxi. I mean, I became an Ethereum maxi too, because once I learned about sending money, sending cryptocurrency from one place to another, being able to utilize DeFi, decentralized financing, buying NFTs, fractionalizing, I was like, holy crap. The problem was that Ethereum is freaking expensive. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. In 2020, we were degens, right?
Yeah, I know.
So we just throw money to anything in crypto and just make money on it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
that was a crazy time for sure. It really was. And we weren't like, I wasn't in that. I was just watching, I just was like, this is crazy. This is also new to me,
Oh yeah.
We were fortunate enough. We had a buddy of ours, Craigo Crypto. He's a great Web3 guy. He does his show out of our studio. So over the last couple of years, we've been really blessed to have him, and by just chance been able to learn throughout. Because if it weren't for that show, we really wouldn't have been as on it as we are now.
Absolutely amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I encourage everyone to learn, right? And because that's where, like, where I guess, like, I feel like about 80% of the people within crypto, probably more, probably less than that, right? But they just have their crypto in a cold storage or in a wallet. They're not utilizing the network, right? Which is okay, right? But for the most part, you utilize the network, you can see the opportunities, not just opportunities, but see how massive this space is going to be. When they talk about all of this, obscure things to a normal person, when you talk about real world assets, trillions, quadrillions of dollars flooding through the network and stuff like that, they're not lying, right? We're going through the shift, and this is where you have to think about the money and how fast the money is changing hands right now as we speak. It's like, man, dude, it was like, what, a few weeks ago that we had Tom Massey from congressman from Kentucky put in a bill that says in the Fed bill, which,
that was the Kentucky guy that did that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I did see that, but I wasn't. That's crazy.
Yeah, and in the Fed bill, and it's coincidental because on the U.S. debt clocks, those little images, it'll say Thomas X. So we're all thinking that it might be Thomas Massey because he introduced that bill. He walks around with a pen on his or a little badge, and it calculates the U.S. debt in real time.
That's the dude. Yeah. I saw that. That shit. It's like triangulated to the freaking second. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's the real deal.
Yeah,
he really is.
I think he's gonna bring this thing down.
Yeah, and someone commented because they said quantum technology. Also, I was gonna say it could be old technology resurfacing too. This combo with AI, and our world. I think I really do. The more I look into it, the more I see that something happened. There was multiple resets, essentially, that brought us here, and I think we're just discovering it again, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that like for example, like the technology we're about to go through is like everybody knows about Bitcoin, right? And all respect to Bitcoin, right? If it wasn't for Bitcoin, we wouldn't be going to where we are here in the near future. Now, whether or not Bitcoin survived, it remains to be seen, right? I want it to survive because it's the godfather of crypto, but do I blame it if it doesn't? I mean, there are issues with it. But besides the point of that one, we have a system that is set up to be able to handle this transition over, right? Like we mentioned earlier, we're going from one reality to another one. We're going from one world to another world, right? We're about to close off one of the timelines. This is a spiritual awakening, and you have two ledgers running side by side, huh?
I said CERN.
Yeah, CERN. Yeah. Hey, April 8th, bro. I'm over here like, hey, after April 8th, you can't tell me nothing's been happening.
Oh my gosh, I know. I agree, dude. It's crazy,
dude.
Hey, that's in the Bible, the location of Lucifer's throne is where CERN has been built.
Yep.
It's like 1 + 1 = 2, Tony, right?
Yeah, it normally does.
They also like on April 8th, that crossing of that X, that's where they hit the accelerator on because they turned on CERN that day.
I know, dude. I totally, I'm with you. We're timeline shifting. That's why you just have to vibe high. I know it's so hippie sounding, but that's in the simplest form. Vibe high. Have your vibrations high. You're a spiritual being experiencing the physical world.
Exactly. Maintain positivity too. Like it's because I feel like the evil, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call it, right? Yeah, whatever you want to call them, it feeds off of negativity. And it's like, bro, I don't have time to be negative, right? This is why I'm having a smile on my face. I'm sure, as quirky as it sounds, I want to be goofy, right? That's who I am in real life. It's like I'm gonna be that person that I'm not gonna sit here and like do something super ridiculous, but I want to put a smile on people's faces, make them feel happy, make them feel like, hey, there is hope.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, because and being able to help people understand it too. That's the biggest piece. Like is because there's so much misinformation out there. I feel like,
dude,
right?
That's why I wanted you on, because you're an educator. First of all, you're not one of those educators that's like at the end of the video that's like, and sign up for my master thing where you pay this and get this. It's just like, no, here's the information. Like, do what thou will. You know what I mean? Like, there's enough to eat for everybody out here, and it's hard to discern who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad in this world, honestly.
Wolf in sheep clothing, right?
Yo, dude, everywhere. It's crazy. It really
is. You gotta filter out all the what do they call it? Agent Smith out there.
Yeah, you just have to discern, honestly. Keep discerning, keep staying in the Bible and stuff like that is what I do, like that's all you could do, really.
Yeah, I mean, and keep constantly research, like nonstop research. Like when you think you learned enough, keep learning. It's like you never end. It got to the point where I'm so down this rabbit hole now. Like not only is it just like bloodlines, right? But also, the emerald tablets. Like if y'all ain't on that level of emerald tablets, it's hard to convince me of anything.
Exactly. I know, it's nuts, dude. And also like, all the biblical books that that have been found, Book of Enoch, Book of Thomas, Dead Sea Scrolls, those things as well. It's just like, what in the hell is going on?
I mean, it's been rewritten. You know, this is where they control the ledger, right? They you know, you can talk about the monetary ledger, because at the end of the day, the Bible is also references the money. Some people might sit here and disagree with me and say it's not all about the money. Well, it is all about the money, because whoever controls the money controls the people, right? It's not like, hey, I want to control the money. I want us to be free. But in order for us to be free, we have to take control of the money.
Exactly. It's like the movie In Time, where you've seen it, I'm sure, where he goes and he gets the rich girl that, like, you know, whatever is the main guy's
great sci-fi movie.
Yeah. And they go and, you know, get the money and literally give it back to the people, all the time, the currency. It's literally almost essentially what we have to do. We have to start robbing banks, Tony.
Let's go.
And we're just like, we have like mass. We're just like, no, what you hold. Yeah. We just like are out. We're like magicians too, so we could get out of it.
Oh my goodness, yo. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're living through those interesting times right now, you know, and like the once in a lifetime opportunity that we have. Like, I feel like, hey, I know times are tough right now, but you know, if you can see past the negativity and be like, envision the new world. And this is what helped me understand, right? It's because I'm like, I take all of this information that I've obtained, you know, of many thousands of hours of endless research, and I try to compile it into what in my head, right? This is the reason why I have a big head, because dang, man, dude.
Not you. He's gonna do a lot of research.
Oh my goodness. But you know, you're computing it and trying to, you know, not only for me to understand it, but to also to tailor it over to the next person to understand it, right? You know, because at the end of the day, the person that I'm speaking to, they a lot of times, if you know, they're watching the mainstream media, right? But they're waking up to everything right now. They're starting to question things. You know, I mean, 2020. You know, there's a reason why I lost 99% of my friends in the physical world, because I want to get the grain. You know, and I came onto social media, right? Because I had all this information to say. I was like, no, bro, I understand the U.S. national debt. I know about the 10-year yield, the 2-year curve. I know about that stuff, because as a mortgage banker, you have to follow the interest rate. That's how we dictate, you know, if you know the rates for the next day, right? So we can tell our clients, hey, is it a good time to either refi, hold, purchase, you know, put a contract in or whatnot, right? So for me to, you know, have been able to point out the U.S. national debt at the same time as understanding crypto, and then two separate worlds started colliding together. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the current monetary system, after going down the rabbit hole of knowing that one, it's like this thing is going to end in, you know, chaos. But then I was like, what if there's a solution, right? That's where, you know, XRP came in, you know, and this goes for the other side of Ethereum too, because Ethereum's gas fee was freaking insane. You know, right now you go send Ethereum from one network to another, at minimum, you're paying $20 in gas fees, you know? So I was like, okay, well, if the whole entire monetary system is changing, the U.S. debt clock indicates that the system is unsustainable. What is the solution? Well, the solution was that we're going into new money. You know, we're going into a new technology, a new reality. And I was just like, as absurd as that sound, right? I was like, that's the only solution we have. Unless the whole entire world just goes up in chaos and blows up, you know. Literally, I don't think that's how the story ends, right? No. Just even, you know, the story always ends the story always ends with us winning. You know, the higher consciousness, human civilization, America, right? I still think America is going to win this war. Like,
whatever war is going on, this is the best place to live, best place to be for sure.
Yeah.
It's not even a question. It really isn't.
No. But because we have, well, one of the many reasons why is because we have a constitution, right?
Literally, Second Amendment.
Yes. And then our Bill of Rights.
Yeah, literally. Look at Australia. Look at China. It's over. for those people, their citizens. Like, it's over. It's Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm. Well, also too, like they can't. So my mom is actually, in China right now, and it's not really as bad as everybody make it seem like, because again, that's mainstream media, right? But they are highly advanced. There's no doubt about it. Like they've been, I'll say about
leaps and bounds these couple of decades.
Yeah, because they went through a major industrial revolution back in the days, from rural to industrial. They were the fastest civilization to do so.
Yep.
But now they're, as far as technology, I mean, they have hypertrains all over their country. My mom was sent me a video of a robot on the street, right? Like, like.
Crazy.
It's pretty, it's pretty crazy to think about, right? But at the same time, as I understand it, that they also don't have the freedom that we have here, right? Again, our constitutional rights, our Bill of Rights, right? But those type of rights are slowly being taken away from us by the overlords, right? The power that bees, because people want to remain asleep, want to just listen to mainstream media, right? We can blame mainstream media, we can blame Hollywood. At the end of the day, too, I'm going to blame, our educational system.
Yeah, oh yeah, and the indoctrination camps for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't want you to know about finances, right? They don't want you to educate yourself about how the system, or not how the system, but how the monetary system works, because they control it.
Yep.
If you understand how the monetary system works, then you'll want to do everything you can to get out of it, because you're like, oh shit, it doesn't make sense. I'm a slave. You're literally a slave to the system, So I mean, in my opinion, I think that in my opinion, this thing is going to switch at a very rapid rate, right? And people are starting to wake up to it, as days go by and weeks go by. The biggest thing is, like, the question I get asked is like, when is this thing going to change? And I'm like, well, the great thing is that you have technology and you have the regulations all coming in. This is one of the reasons why I love XRP, right? Because they were the first ones in the door and they're the first ones out. XRP is not a security. You got to look at the the underlying aspects of, hey, this token is, although it's 50 cents for this right now, this cryptocurrency, right? This thing will power the whole entire world. When Ripple sat there and says that it is the internet of value, they're not lying to people, right? If you understand that, from the evolutionary, there's a chart that I love where we went from an adoption phase from the 2000s to now, and our evolution, or our adoption phase of our technology, and it was just an exponential growth, right? Well, what we're about to go through is a super cycle of that. It's like, for me to understand that, okay, because a major technology was introduced in the 2000s, but it was always harnessed, so it was always suppressed, in my opinion, because the powers that be control it, but if they never controlled it, where would we be at? Well, we're about to just jump to that phase. We're not even, there's not going to be any time in the middle, in my opinion. It's going to be like, boom, because you take time to gradually try to, in my opinion, what they thought about is like, if they allow them to try to catch up, if they just didn't do a quick, take the snake off the head type ordeal, then it'll give them time to come back and always try to recreate or use these silly laws and regulations to harness and suppress it.
100%. When did you get into XRP? Like, what was it? Do you remember the moment when you were? Yeah, tell me about
it. Oh man, shout out to Zach Recker. Oh, homie, right there. TikTok. I was scrolling through and I ran across Zach Recker, and he broke down XRP and what it was doing. And he broke it down in a way that it made sense to me, but also at the same time as him having a greater understanding of the global economy, and sat there and understand, explained out to me about the global central banks and everything I already vibe with. It was just like, oh wow, I'm gonna go ahead and start looking into this crypto. Right now, keep in mind, I didn't buy it yet. I was over on the Ethereum ecosystem, Solana, Binance, whatever, Crow Network, all over the damn other blockchains, right? But the solution was, every one of these blockchains had a problem. And whenever I ran across Zach's video talking about XRP, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it out. Purchased some XRP, transferred it over, and started utilizing the network. And I was just like, holy crap. Dude, I sent this XRP in literally a few seconds. When on Bitcoin, it'll take me hours. Sometimes Bitcoin takes 4 hours. And not only in a few seconds, but it was fractions of a penny. I was just like, this is the future of money right here. Solana, right? As great as Solana is when it comes to as the price appreciation has been, the network goes down. And I'm like, okay, well, banks aren't going to use that. If we're switching up the whole entire monetary system, they ain't going to use that. So whenever I utilized the XRP ledger, it helped me understand that was going to be the banker's coin, which they label it as, right? Then I started going down the research, going down the rabbit hole, about XRP, about the monetary system, the challenges of that phase, who the creators were, crazy. Ripple and XRP is a rabbit hole of its own, right? But whenever I understood and I started, following Jed McCaleb, Ryan Fruger, David Schwartz, and Chris Larson, I was just like, and also the combination of X as well, like Elon Musk, because I'm an Elon Musk fanboy. By the way, Elon, give me a follow, bro.
Hell yeah, you deserve one.
I know, appreciate it. Now, everything to do with PayPal, how they, how he revolutionized the payment system when it came to X.com at the time.
I know.
PayPal.
It's crazy that it was X.com.
I know, right?
Crazy. X marks the spot, I always say.
Bro, every one of the X's. I'm like, bro, X this, X that, X this, XRP, XLM, XDC. Let's go.
Know what you hold.
Know what you hold, yo.
Yeah.
But whenever I got into, whenever I started, combining all this information together, right, I started understanding that, or I started learning that XRP was, although in my opinion, there's a lot of problems that we have in our world, and there's not going to be one blockchain that rules them all. That's completely silly, in my opinion, right?
That's what the elites want.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a multi-asset
Lord of the Rings,
environment.
Tony says.
Say what? I'm sorry, Tony.
Lord of the Rings. I'm saying, like the council.
Yeah,
the council name when they want to make the ultimate ring, control them all.
Yes,
not good.
Yes,
dude.
no, not good.
No. I mean, we're in that right now.
We are.
Like that's what the Federal Reserve Note is. It's the one ring that rules them all right now. 100%. This is why every country around the world, right, that's joining BRICS. And
and the contract ending with Saudi Arabia, talk about a black swan event. That's one that the media is not covering.
Yeah.
Like nobody, my mother, like she watches it sometimes, she's the only person I really know that is watching it. And she had no idea either. So it's sad they're not covering it. The Russian ships in the Gulf Coast now, it's insane.
Dude,
I hope they adopt XRP. That'd be nuts, honestly.
I mean, from all the research I've done, right? Especially with the Bank of International Settlements, right? That's the big one, the Bank of International Settlements, because they were the ones that were established and created in the wakes of 2009, everything that happened in 2009. So anything that follows along with the Bank of International Settlements, I keep a really close eye on, because they're the ones that's setting rules and regulations for all these central banks to abide by, right? Because right now, I believe it was back in 2000 was whenever they removed fractionalized banking, all of it. Fractionalized banking was already there, but they removed the reserve for it. So at the moment in time, banks don't have to have a reserve for fractionalized banking.
Right. They
Okay.
you don't have your money in your bank essentially.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they're out there leveraging it.
Yeah, exactly.
They have it in the
Yeah, it's crazy.
online casino, right?
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And it was set up, on the backs of us, right? Because it is a debt based system that was created in their favor, in their hands. That's why I love like the history of the monetary system. As much as I hate it because it enslaved humanity, it is this is the greatest story ever told.
Mhm.
This is literally biblical, right? You're changing the hands of the money changers,
Mhm.
and you're utilizing its, blockchain and AI technology to get out of this, enslavement broken system that they created and they've locked down for so long.
Mhm.
It was always going to end up with us being on the other side, no matter what, right? And with XRP, XLM, I mean XDC, I mean all of it's going to play a big role. Real world asset tokenization, right? The Bank of International Settlements are partnered up with almost every single one of them in their project, right? If y'all haven't looked into it, look at the BIS, the Bank of International Settlement, their project, and everything they have to do with CBDCs, cross-border payments. It always references something about distributed ledger technology, something as far as form of a level playing field, blockchain. It references XRP a few times.
Mhm.
Ripple is a partner with the Bank of International Settlements. That's not a given secret.
Mhm.
Now, in my opinion, I always saw it this way: like Ripple, they have a technology called Ripple Net. And have you ever played the game called Mousetrap? It's like the central bankers are the mouse,
Mhm.
right? And we're about to put the trap over the mouse,
Mhm.
like the Ripple net, and
That's
the
all.
net that goes over the whole entire game, right?
Mhm.
And the central bankers, in order to get out of that net, right, they had to abide by that rule, right? The protocol that it has within RippleNet,
Mhm.
because everybody outside of RippleNet all are agreement. Hey, we want to play by the rules. We want to do anti money laundering, KYC. We don't want to be utilizing the money for illicit activities, right?
Mhm.
But this is where you know the people, the power that be, right, whenever they're just endlessly printing the money, inside of what they call the government, right, when in reality it's just a corporation. When
Literally.
they're in control of this system,
Mhm.
right, and we're the ones here, if we're in America, we're the ones that's supposed to pay this back.
Mhm.
Where's that money going to, right?
Right.
We don't know where that money's going to because we don't control the ledger,
Right.
you know but if we did control the ledger, right, you can put the address on crypto address, and see where the money is.
Yep.
I want to know where freaking, hey, yo, bro, you gonna print off $1 billion and I got paid with my tax money? All right, cool. Where is it going? Whose
Yeah.
wallet is it going to?
Literally. I
I mean,
know.
you can see my money.
Yeah. Every year. Every year. Yep. No, it's crazy. And if quick question, if you were like to explain it to someone who doesn't know, and I know, and have a brief understanding of finances, what is XRP to someone who's unfamiliar with it? If you could, in your best, simplest answer.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it's hard. I know.
yeah. So I know, because I explain things on a much higher level, but at the same time, XRP is basically it's not a newer technology, right? But XRP is a blockchain project. Or let me see. XRP is designed to send digital payments across the network, right? At a fast, secure, easy, simplistic, transparent, and immutable and interoperable way. Um, the current financial system, we don't have that. It hinders that, right? And so we need a technology to be able to send money back and forth without constriction, without the restrictions that are around. Um, this allows us to actually expand GDP and expand the whole entire growth of the global economy, right? Um, it is a neutral bridge currency for cryptocurrencies. I mean, they have it. it's so revolutionary at the same time as like, on just a base simple level, it's basically new money. That's all it is. It's a brand new currency that's going to be, that a lot of people don't know. It's going to, be the new oil for this whole entire environment. Think about right now, like our current financial system, or you think about the road that we drive on, right? And that being the XRP ledger. Whenever you pass by any type of tolls or bridges on tolls that you have to pay, think about those tolls being, the network and the network fee that you have to pay in order to, transact, right, or go over to the other side of the tollway. What you're going to be paying in is the gas fees, which is XRP. So the internet of value, right? You're all over on these railways that are that's already developed on the ledger. And whenever you transact on the ledger and anything that transacts on the ledger, you have to use the gas token XRP.
So it's almost like a virtual easy pass.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Great job, Tony.
If you get it ahead of time, it can be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not when it's already in action. Let's put it that way. It'll be an expensive easy pass then at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about it only has a bit. It was pre-mined, right, with 100 billion tokens, and it's deflationary. Like that, 100 billion tokens is not a lot of tokens.
No,
I mean, yes, you can break that down by to 1 million, right, of each billion. But when you're deflationary, every single time a transaction is being made, you're burning XRP. It's not like you're mining infinite. Like it's not like Ethereum where you continuously, create more Ethereum, right? Not saying that Ethereum is bad. It's just, with XRP, there's a limited supply for a reason.
Almost like a Bitcoin.
Correct.
Interesting. And then the SEC lawsuit. Do you tell people what's going on? Do you you went to the conference in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Right. How was that that experience? I'm sure it was so motivating and just uplifting, and you're just riled after or during.
No, it was fun. It was second time in Vegas, right? Shout out to Fruition Production, who are Chris and Maya, who are producing the XRP documentary.
Cool.
Docuseries. I met them out there. Brad Kimes hosted Digital Perspective. Shout out to him. He hosted the XRP event. Him and DAI, Digital Asset Investor, and they hosted an amazing event. I mean, I've never. It almost tripled the amount of the previous year before.
Wow.
And you got to see everybody come and it's something different whenever you have everybody in the same area that are on that higher frequency as you are and think outside the box, right?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and you feel comfortable, right? Yeah. You can talk, in a normal set, or not normal, but in the world,
in the Matrix.
Yes, in the Matrix, you go out there, you don't know what to say to somebody, right?
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, you do. You could say, people give it away now, way easier. But no, I totally, you're right. It's it's annoying. It really is.
So whenever we were at Vegas, right, it was just the atmosphere to be able to network, to learn, to be able to have fun. Correct.
Right? Like that, it means the vibes. It's you're increasing vibration, networking. Absolutely. When two or more gathered in my name, I'm there among you.
I mean, I met a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of amazing projects that are being built. And then all the details that are coming out, right? It's just, it helps you, be more confident, because you're part of that community, right? And you're seeing it, XRP community is not a small community, and it's not just hey, we're the crypto bros, okay? Because there's a whole other community of just crypto bros. And I'm just this is why me and you we can't get along. You know?
You and me are not the same. Yeah,
exactly. I understand they're in the money of the future and everything, but they don't understand as far as the spiritual side that I go through.
Right. Exactly. And that's the important part of it, in my opinion. because that's what makes the world a better place in the end. It's not just solving problems. It's like deep root healing, basically.
Yeah. No, it's like whenever people like those, a lot of people don't realize that you have to tap into that, you know, what we call our third eyes, right? You know, into, you know, be able to envision the future, right? Even though, again, like they're in the future, they're already using the money of the future and everything. It doesn't help them understand. To me, it's like you gotta love what you hold. You gotta know what you hold, right? That catchphrase, know what you hold.
Yeah,
because when you know what you hold, it makes it hard. It makes it easier to withstand all the hatred, all the downtimes, right? To get through this. I'm sorry?
I said no pun intended, the downtime, because we're downtime.
Oh yeah, exactly. Let's go. But see, it's like you gotta understand, like the environment that we're going through, there is a solution, right? And some people, they don't want to hold any of it because they're like, oh, this thing is, you know, not moving. It's a 50-cent coin. They're just hyping it up. They're scam artists.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Everything coming out right now. I'm like, dude, the only one regulation, clear regulatory clarity, right? It's the only one partnering up with government, banks.
Yeah, like what are we talking about? Like, that's all I need to hear, Echo. That's it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
It's because the prices are moving, and I'm just like, because we're not in that new price reality yet. This is why we're having two ledgers, right? You know, you can call this a public ledger, private ledger. You can call this the new reality, the current reality. It doesn't matter. It hasn't switched yet. And as crazy as it sounds, it's going to switch because you're seeing it happen right before your very eyes, right? All of this information coming out right now, all the arrests that are happening. They said that all will be revealed in 2024. I'm just like, where's my popcorn at, yo? Because this is just getting interesting.
And someone says, it goes with what we're saying. There's a lot of comments, and we really appreciate everybody with all the comments. Maybe we'll go over all of them, but one I see at the bottom, Tony, it's when it goes, it's going to be so fast, their heads will spin. 100% Bulma 2.0. I mean, it's almost like back in the day when communist countries in Eastern Europe and stuff went democracy. It happened overnight. It's not like and they didn't announce it either. It just happened. And if you knew, you knew, you know, and it's going to be the same way. People are going to look back. I talk about this with Tony all the time, and they're going to be so upset with themselves that they weren't educating themselves. Because the past, you know, let's say 200, whatever amount, the whole existence of the United States, in my opinion, we have slowly stopped educating ourselves on the law and really how this world works. And then you get to see the repercussions of this materialistic world that everyone's obsessed with. It's insane.
Yeah. It bred that way. It bred for you to believe that. You know, they put it right in front of our faces, right? With Hollywood,
and like movies and shit. I know, and people are like, "It's just a movie," and I'm like, "No, it's gonna happen. It's happening." It's crazy.
Oh,
Terry,
man.
thank you. You guys are fabulous. God bless you guys. You as well, Terry. That's a nice comment. You gotta put that on the God. You know, God bless you. But yeah. Continuing with the SEC. So unless you want to keep talking about,
no, yeah, I mean, I can cover. Huh?
If you're done with the conference, or if you want to keep talking about it, I'm down. I'm all ears right now.
I mean, the SEC. I mean, we can cover. We can talk about that. I mean,
to me, people who don't know, tell them what's going on.
So the SEC, as many people know, is a body of government that, you know, oversees the financial system, right? And they have rules and regulations of what things are as far as the security market. Well, in 2020, the SEC put a lawsuit against Ripple for sales of XRP, right? And this was back in 2020, coincidentally, right before the bull run, December of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, throughout the whole entire lawsuit, so far, it's been dragged out. right? Now 2024, and you know, we wrapped up one part of the case. There's still one more last piece, and it's over, right? But the major part was that, you know, XRP is not a security, or going on the secondhand market. Now, as far as like if you know, if there is because they said that if there is sales for I believe it's Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson for their sale of XRP, right? If they're going to deem that a security or not. So will remain to be seen. But, you know, even if so, I mean, I don't believe that, you know, they came out with some crazy number of like $2 billion, $200 billion or something like that, that they wanted Ripple to pay. And I'm just like, y'all are freaking insane. I was like, the only reason why I said that was because like everything that happened back in 2009 with Bernie Sanders, right? He was caught colluding with, or not he was caught, but he was colluding with the SEC the whole entire time. The SEC was letting it go on the whole entire time. The whole entire real estate market bubble happened. Yeah, yep. There's a documentary on Netflix that covers it very, very well.
What's it called? Do you know?
Like Bernie.
Can you look up Tony? Tony's got you. Tony's got you. Thank you.
Cool, cool.
He'll get it.
So Bernie Sanders, so it's not Bernie Sanders, Bernie Madoff. I'm sorry,
Bernie Madoff. I know. Yeah,
Bernie Madoff.
That's what I was thinking. I knew. I thought that's what you meant, but I just didn't. I was like, man, damn, Sanders too. I mean, I knew he was a rat.
My bad.
Yeah, Tony got it. Madoff, the monster of Wall Street. Thank you, Tony.
Yes, thank you. That right there. If you haven't watched it,
We will.
Yeah. Because then it tells you like how, you know, how the SEC was colluding with them and they caused a gigantic bubble. That makes you understand that how corrupt they are currently right now, right? Now, whether or not Gary Gensler is a puppet, it remains to be seen, but the SEC needs to go either way, or they need to be restructured or whatnot, because, you know, they already lost the case against the Debt Box, which is another crypto project, right? Now they lost against them, and they're about to lose against Ripple and the Ripple and the XRP army, right? And you know, after that, we're gonna have full regulation, at least for that portion of crypto. But we can't. But the real reason why we need the SEC or need this win against the SEC is because it set precedence on all the regulations for blockchain and distributed ledger technology from that point on, right? And how it gets deemed. And we don't want a corrupt, you know, regulatory body to just, you know, approve things or not approve things based on what's going to benefit them.
Well, I mean, I'll say, looking at Brad, whenever he's talking, you know, Garlinghouse, he's always calm, chill. He makes me think like it's over. They won. It's just a matter of time, really. And he's the CEO of Ripple, if anyone doesn't know, because we don't want to assume.
Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, Brad Garlinghouse, he's a beast. He's the GOAT.
I mean, he seems like it. And like, I'm just, you know, learning more about him since we've gotten into XRP. And from everything I see, I mean, I love.
Yeah. I mean, he has a tattoo on his arm too, an XRP tattoo.
Does he? If it goes to the moon, as Brian Barnaby comments, XRP to the moon, I would do that a little small tattoo somewhere. It would be my first, and I think my mother would be really upset with me.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been contemplating just getting it right across my chest, like right there in X.
And you're just like, come on and be like, know what you hold.
Yeah.
Boom.
I mean, I'll be proud to do so. If I was like, it's not silly. Like, I'm like, dude, I've been repping this sucker for dang near freaking 3 years now.
I mean, have you spoken with anybody that high as Brad and what's the other dude's name? David Schwartz. Sorry, David Schwartz.
So I've never had the opportunity to meet Brad, right? Even though he was there at the XRP event, I wasn't even there like inside, like whenever he was actually visiting. Right, I was outside talking to some other individuals, but for the most part, I did get to meet David Schwartz.
That's dope.
Second time I got to meet him, and you know, I would think that I would have something to say to him, but I really didn't. All I said was thank you, you know, for everything that you have created and done, because, you know, this dude, it's a $1 trillion man. I'm like, dude, this dude's the $1 trillion man. He doesn't even know it. He created he helped create and revolutionize the monetary system. Now, I'm not going to, of course, you can't fully give it over to David Schwartz. You have to include Chris Larson, Jed McCaleb, right? And also Ryan Fruger as well. But for the most part, David Schwartz is the guy that's, is helping revolutionize, taking from XRP, what it is right now, the ledger, to the next level, introducing not just, hey, we have this currency, right? But what can you do with this currency? How can you improve liquidity? How can you make more money in the world?
Right.
How can you expand the GDP, right? Because that's overall what human civilization is meant for. It's supposed to make more money, grow the growth, right? It's like you're playing a video game. This is why I feel like we're in a simulation from time to time.
Yeah.
Like, look, the video game is try to make more money, try to increase the GDP. You have to mine resources just like you mine things in the game. You're mining gold, you're mining silver for resources, copper, right? Okay, well, think outside the box. Okay, well, if that's the case, think about like being in their shoes and how they're trying to solve these problems that we have right now. This guy right here is about to take that major step leap forward, right? Like we ain't going, everybody's talking about we're going to the moon, but I feel like we're going to a whole new universe.
That's that's awesome. People love it. I guarantee people love it. People think David Schwartz. I've seen that people, and they've asked him too, and he's like, no, it couldn't be me. I was at this place at this time. But there's rumors that he's Satoshi as well. I know you're laughing, but I know it's because he technically would be one of the few guys that could create Bitcoin, essentially. Who's smart enough and was around at that time. So it's interesting.
The great mystery of who Satoshi is.
Who do you think? I've heard Putin, honestly, even too.
I've heard him. I've heard Putin. I mean, was it NSA, right? I mean,
there's a comment here. What do you think of it? Kind of ties into what we're talking about. What do you think about the theory that it is all PSYOP to implement the CBDC like in China? I love the little Batman with the big eyes photo he's got there.
Man, dun.
Yeah.
So for me, honestly, this is going to be a little controversial, but for me, in America, I don't believe we're going to have a CBDC, right? We're going to be on stable coins, right? But even if we were on a CBDC, as long as we don't have the people that are running the office right now, the Federal Reserves and everything, as long as we don't have them issue out the CBDCs, we're okay, right?
The bloodlines.
Correct. Like if they're the one that give out the CBDCs, then I mean, of course, we're still going to be in a cyclical cycle that we're currently in right now, right? And never ending, enslavement. But I believe like CBDC in general is actually really good because we need to be able to conduct wholesale transactions across borders, right? Central bank digital currency. We need central banks. As much as negativity there are about central banks are good because it helps expand GDP, right? We have to tap into credit. In order to tap into credit, we have to have banks. In order to grow the economy.
There are good banks out there. There are like not that I'm not talking about the elite JP Morgan. So I'm talking about private banks out there.
The credit unions are good ones.
Yeah.
Them like credit unions, those are good, right? But for the most part, like CBDCs itself, what a lot of studies, like I hear a lot of negativity about CBDCs when it comes to China, but what people don't say is that crime actually dropped by 95% in the first year when CBDCs were implemented. All crime in the whole entire country.
Wow. That's crazy.
Next year.
That is, I mean, you can't deny that right there.
Then after that, I have no idea, but I know that 95% is massive. And then they have this social credit score, right? And you get put up on this wall of shame over in China.
Like I've heard about that, and I've even seen even to the T of like if you're crossing like a street and you're jaywalking, literally on the like the screen like when you're coming to the street, you'll see your face and everything, and it's like your score going down, and people see it.
Yep,
it's crazy.
Like over there, because they're they don't have the constitution that we have, and they have oversight, right? Over here, we don't have oversight like that.
Right.
I mean, we do, but we don't, right? We only do because we put them in office.
Right, exactly.
Over there, you know, they don't get a choice.
Yeah. That's the difference right there. We do it to ourselves. They don't have a choice.
Yes, exactly.
Crazy.
So, in my opinion, CBDCs is a good thing as long as the issuer is not corrupt.
Love
right?
it.
Because
I mean, that is a hot take, but that's a great take. You know,
we want to be able to transact across borders. We want to be able to say, hey, you're going to be sending money to so and so. Okay, who are you sending money to? Are you going to be sending millions of dollars to, let's just say, not million, but billion of dollars to a country that's in need, right? Where are you really sending it to? Whose wallet is it really going to? Is it really going to the AIDS, or is it really going to politicians' pockets?
Right. No, 100%.
You know, is it just money washing? Is it just laundering?
Yeah,
right?
no, I mean, it is what's going on. It really is. We got a lot of people loving the content. Love listening to you guys. Thank you. Tweety Sue. Appreciate it. This is awesome. We're having a great time. I'm having a great time. I hope you're having a great time.
Absolutely.
But when do you think this case is going to be done at the SEC? If you had to go into your crystal ball and say, hey, this is when I think it's going to be wrapped up.
So I don't really follow. I mean, I know that there are people that, you know, I guess try to decode, right? Because I believe that, in my opinion, this case is over already. Like, they're just
like I said, go look at Brad. He'll make you feel like it's over.
Exactly. So for me, I'm like, you know, I go off a worst case scenario, and that's how I've always been, right? If I go off a worst case scenario, anything better than that, I'm a winner, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing when I was in mortgage. I learned that when I was in mortgages, right? You know, whenever I would tell people, hey, whenever they were purchasing the home, I would let them know, okay, well, this is how much cash you would need to close on this home, whether you're purchasing this home or you're refinancing. I give them the worst case scenario, because if I set myself up, or if I set other people up for worst case scenario, again, anything that better that happens, I'm a hero.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's not.
So
I saw a quote about that yesterday, like getting through life, the less expectations you have, the better life will be.
Correct.
Lower the expectations of things, you know?
Only control what you can control, right? So for me, the U.S. debt clock tells me everything I need to know, right? As far as when this transition is going to take place, okay? On the USDebtClock.org, it tells us that we're going to transition into the new U.S. Treasury Dollar, and it's going to be introduced to us by 2025. Then they started, you know, giving us these secret images, right? That you know, of the new dollars that we're about to go into.
With
amazing looking
gold and Kennedy and shit on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
everything that we've gone down our rabbit holes on confirmed.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to say this again, because we're like now further in the show, and there's definitely a lot of new people here. The way you cover the USDebtClock.org is so epic with the Gemotria. Can you explain for people a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the U.S. debt clock, they've been coming out with all these little secret, what they call secret windows, right? And this started back in October of last year. But even before that, I was telling everybody, because I always use it as a point of reference, of telling everybody, hey, this is where the U.S. national debt is, and this is what's going on. We have to keep pay attention to this debt, because, you know, it's alarming. You know, there's a lot of interest that has to be paid.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. And some people, it scares people because they don't understand, because we weren't taught in school. But I'm like, I'm trying to, you know, tell everybody, and it gave me a good, like, connecting piece between that and XRP, right? But started in October of last year, they started, you know, putting these little memes, these little images up there, right? And
Tony, you want to get one up for us, just so while he could just keep going. We'll pull it up. He'll pull one up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so they started giving these little secret little images up there, meme, but the meme broke down like history of the monetary system, the reason why things are where they are right now, right? But you just have to decode it. And I was like, okay, well, I already like content creating, right? I'm very I like to experiment. I like to decode. I like to try to be ahead of the game, right? And I'm not afraid to put myself in front of the camera. as long as I do it in a unique way, then I can be able to utilize this image to help people understand what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So ever since they started coming out with these little images, I've been, breaking it down for people by utilizing all the resources and tools that we have right now, right in front of us.
Sorry, we were getting it up.
Is this what you're looking for right here?
No, it's supposed to be that image of him.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pull out, show them that one, because like I want them to have a visual of what we're talking about, because it's not just like it's like a freaking puzzle, and then
Yes.
like you'll be like, for this image, like an example, folks. I'm not. He'll be like, and look, it's you, and it's like the 4 gold seals represent X, Y, and Z, and then you take all those and put them in the Gemotria calculator and come up with. And by the way, it's you. That's on 333, which is dope. Someone 3:33 p.m.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that they'll be giving us like these little images right here,
Mhm.
right? Like every single 2 to 3 days. At first, it was like every other day,
Mhm.
right? And then many months went by, like as far as we're covering it, and decoding it, but it updated and it popped up on X.
Mhm.
So what during the decodes, right? Especially when I first started, I would be breaking it down to all the way down to anything that stuck out to me, kind of
What
like
made you
national
do the
treasure.
Gematria, though? What made you do that? Like you just thought, let me put it in a Gematria calculator?
So I had an old friend of mine, or I had a previous friend of mine that he introduced me to the Gematria calculator,
Mhm.
right? And this was back in July of last
Mhm.
year. And I started playing around with it. I got interested in it, right? Because I'm like, man, these you put in a phrase and then
Means
it
something else,
calculates and
and it means something else.
yeah, exactly. So it calculates and you see, sentences and words and things that that are like, wow, is this really true, right? But then I started utilizing that with things that I started picking out in the US debt clock, right? As far as like words or phrases or things that popped out to me. And for me, I use it as a, not just a calculator per se, but more so like a confirmation of
Yeah.
things that I've gone down. And I'm just like, this thing is telling me things that I only can see. I
Right.
would only understand.
Mhm.
Like, unless you've gone through everything I've gone through with the monetary system, the ups and downs, struggles of life and everything, envisioning the future, right? You probably won't be able to see this like phrase stick out of all these phrases. So I
Mhm.
try to select the ones that I feel like resonate with me and I
Mhm.
deliver it to the audience. Now in that case, it helps us because we're all trying to remain positive. We're all trying to give this enlightenment. So we all need the resources and tools that are around us, right? And I feel like again, if we're in this matrix, we're in this simulation, God speaks by code, right? Ones and
Mhm.
zeros. And that's
100%.
the always the very first language was like ones and zeros and calculated,
Mhm.
so whenever I started using the gematria, I got into the spiritual side where I'm like, okay, well, I believe that I don't know how this thing fully 100% works, right?
Mhm.
But I know that I put in these phrases and things are popping up. Most predominantly, a lot of XRP things, right?
Mhm.
And keep in mind, I'm already in XRP. Hey man, I'm balls deep in XRP at this point, right? But
Yeah.
it gives me more confirmation that it's XRP
Right.
because XRP is always popping up and talking about the monetary system. Then I go down this other rabbit hole of, learning about the bloodlines, learn about the
That was my
Rothschild.
first intro. Like that's how I got into the
Who were
world.
they?
Yeah, like who are they? I thought when I was 17, I always wanted to know like how is this world governed, basically. And so I kind of went on my own spiritual journeys from then. And the fiat and currency thing that we're talking about now, I mean, I didn't become financially literate, and I'm still not, to the extent of a lot of people for until like 5 years ago, really, and that's because I was in the indoctrination camps. I was in Fairfield Public Education System, which is one of the top in the country, honestly. But still, even being the top, they're not teaching you that stuff. They're just indoctrinating you, making you a nice little worker bee, make the other dude mad money.
Yep. In this enslavement system.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Go buy yourself a nice little toy. It's all good. You got everything. You're going to own nothing by 2030 and be happy, right? World
that,
Economic Forum.
that's what they want.
Yeah.
But this is where, I believe that we're gonna be, this is where the confirmation from the U.S. debt clock, and I'm hoping I'm right. I'm like, look, bro, I have no one. Look, there for me, we can choose to think about this world as going and burning up in flames and it being chaotic, right? Which it sounds like we're about to go through. But there's the other side of all of it. It's like the gold, the silver, the monetary system, how that worked, blockchain technology, right? What really, once I went down the rabbit hole of not only what the bloodlines and who they are, but how do they utilize money? How was money created? How is debt created? What did they use to create debt from? When I started learning about our birth certificate, our social security numbers,
being a straw man. Everybody's a straw man,
yes,
essentially. Yeah,
and
you're
I was just
dead
like,
until return to sea. Liquidity. I mean, it's all in the words too that they use. I mean, money is a currency. It's water, it's energy. That's why if you're vibing high and you're, thinking, like you said, positive, staying in that zone, you'll attract that level of frequency. But if you're vibing like, oh, woe is me, I'm broke, blah, blah, you're going to be broke. That's it. That's where you're going to be in that energy.
Remember Bruce Lee, he said a famous quote that he said, be water. Be like water, my friends. And it's true. Like you have to be vibing on a higher frequency, think positive, right? But so you understand that in my philosophy, how I believe is like, okay, well, you understand that, okay, the straw man, this birth certificate, social security numbers, right? We're gonna, we have a constitutional right, right? If you believe, you understand that this is a corporation, this is an entity that works in the behalf of our country or in our country, and they act on the behalf of a government that has no reserves, even though they're supposed to have reserves. They control the monetary system. They manipulate the system in their way. Then they've already broken all the laws, right? It's just up to us to actually wake up, consciously wake up and just overthrow them, right?
Literally.
Throw them down a black hole because we have everything in front of us, right? But it takes all of us to work together, But they've done a really good job at dividing us.
Oh, from in every aspect, like literally from like back in the day to NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, they even got it down to dividing people. Like even in that sphere, you know what I mean? It's like division everywhere. It's crazy.
Terrible. Terrible. I mean, it's like, in my opinion, like if they're able to do that, well, I mean, that's just my opinion, but many people's opinion, right, out there. Like, if they're able to actually do that, they're able to control us easier because we're distracted.
Oh my God. All the material. I just always think about Christmas time and the holidays when you say something like that, because it's like everyone's on full, like materialistic, I'm in the matrix mode in that time frame. But no, it's insane, dude. I always think about when you go to like cities or suburbs, why don't we have fruit trees everywhere? And just that in general, where you could just go pick an apple and go on with your day, because slavery, they don't want you to have anything nice, essentially.
They want to be able to monetize it.
100%. It's so annoying. Like, money all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, in my opinion, because of all the rights and everything that we have in the background, right? The system is going to switch, and it's actually going to be able to empower humanity, human civilization, right? And although people didn't get on board with like XRP, get your gold and silver and everything, I still feel like everybody is going to be, going to have a lot of money because, again, you understand what our, what they call it, this Kasara and Nasara. Like, I didn't even believe in that. I'm not going to lie to you. When I got into XRP, I was just like, hey, this thing is going to move the money of the future. I didn't care about resetting the debt clock. I didn't understand about resetting the debt clock. I just know that, okay, well, we need to be able to send money back and forth very fast, very cheap, and organizations going to have to use it. There's no way they're going to use this legacy system that takes a week to send money, that's not secure, that is extremely expensive to send across borders. They're not going to do that. A credit card transaction fee is like 3%. You calculate that. How much money is the central bank really making, or those merchants are making? You know, you got to cut out you're going to have to cut out the middleman so that we can grow GDP. Everybody's trying to tap in, but we don't have to have that. We can, legitimately build something and replace, that snake, that venom, right? That entity that, that just drives off of, debt, money, and
fear,
replace it.
sadness, depression. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so we're supposed to be transitioning into the new U.S. Treasury dollar by 2025, right? And that's my end goal. Can you survive until the end of 2025? I don't know when in 2025, but from the indications that I see, it's going to be 2025. Not only besides that, ISO 20022, that protocol, that XRP, XLM, all of these, a list of cryptocurrencies and digital assets are compliant by, ISO goes live in November 2025. Like full implementation. If you're not on board with that implementation, you're done. You're if you send money, if you transact over this system, if you're not abiding by these rules, you will not be able to utilize this network. To me, it's like, that sounds like, hey, the two different timelines that we had, the two different ledgers, one ledger is going. That sounds like, hey, that's the end roll. Now, can the case end tomorrow? Can it end in a week? Can it end next month? Yes. I believe that it will end sooner than later, in my opinion, right? Based on the technical analysis of Schwartz, right? As far as you can read the Bitcoin chart. This sucker, it hit all-time high before, the halving.
Yeah.
Right? And crypto's supposed to follow Bitcoin, right? But then gold also did too. Gold hit all-time high. I think it's on its third or fourth now this year that it hit all-time high. Copper's on its all-time high, right? Silver has not hit its all-time high, but this is where the paper contract come in. This is where you understand longing and shorting, the derivative market, right? How they suppress the market itself, the COMEX, right? You can see why silver is it's the most highly suppressed asset out there, like commodity, right? And they've been doing it for over 200 years. That's
crazy.
Yeah. But again, the only way we can break free from that system is to go over to take this real world assets and put it into blockchain and distributed ledger technology. XRP will be one of them. So
I totally believe that too. And we have cookies again. And I see the Batman, so I gotta get it. What do you think the real price of XRP and XLM will be? His face, he's just like, billion, dude.
I'm just gonna shoot it and say 10,000 fiat currency Federal Reserve notes.
I mean, talk about scheduling a trip to wherever if you're a holder,
Well, this is the thing. If we're transitioning from, this is where I tell people, I'm like, especially all the haters, that whenever I sit there and say giving a crazy number for XRP, right? If we're transitioning from the M2, the fiat Federal Reserve note, we're transitioning from that monetary system over to or a new money, right, which is a Treasury dollar. There's a ratio for it. That ratio right now is showing at 1,776 Federal Reserve note to one Treasury dollar.
Holy shit!
Wow,
that's crazy.
So a $10,000 XRP, I say, hey, yeah, $10,000 XRP is definitely plausible because that's a Federal Reserve note. That's only $10 in the Treasury dollar. But we're supposed to be transmitting quadrillions of dollars in the overall market in the Treasury dollar, like the money of the future.
Right.
This lets it allow it. If XRP is going to move the money of the future, you got to think about how much money is actually out there. how much data is going to be transmitted across this network, right? It's unlimited. You know, this is why I like with the I call them, you know, you have your crypto bros, but then within your crypto bros, you have your market cap bros that just only rely on market cap. And I'm like, crypto and digital assets are not stocks. I'm like, you can't measure it like a stock. Like you can, yes, when it comes to technical analysis, people use it to indicate like top and bottoms of like cycles, but the unlimited potential of what it is and what it's about to do, you can't measure it like it's a stock. A $1 trillion market cap on this, you know, like Tesla or Apple and Nvidia. No, that it's not a corporation. It's a currency.
Right. So really, no one knows what it could. It could go anywhere, really, like super high, even like and a number we couldn't even fathom at times. I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about like David Schwartz, he's from the future. I mean,
yeah, he definitely time traveled here.
Yeah, 100%. He jumped in.
He got Nikola Tesla's time machine notes. He figured it out. He got it.
Bro, thorium, bro. That's what he did. Flux capacitor. Let's go. Turn that sucker on.
Yeah. Seriously.
No, I mean, if you think about like he's from the future, he's helping establish the money and the monetary system of the future, right? You got to envision that. You got to just be like, okay, well, if that's the case, think about how money is right now, and everything how we transact with money right now is going to be dinosaured. It's already dinosaur that is compared to it. I mean, you're moving millions of times faster.
It really is insane. And I just think everyone's bugging because of, you know, it hasn't moved 50 cents. It's been 50 cents forever. But I mean, the lawsuits here, you know, I feel like as soon as that's done, you're going to see things change.
Well, also too, like for everyone that holds on to XRP, I let them know like, okay, well, and they're, you know, they're upset because the price hasn't moved. I understand, trust me. But what I'm doing, two things, right, to make me happy. One is to be involved in the community, right? Because when you're in the community, right, you don't have to go to these events, but when you're hanging out with the people within on X or just following the, you know, following the community itself, you're seeing how the development. There are a lot of projects on the XRP ledger. You know, people always talk about, well, how do I get into this cryptocurrency before, right? How do you get the 1000x crypto? You know, how do you get this meme coin that, you know, Brett coin, right? That went thousands of %, right? The way you do it is you're involved in this community, right? You know what's going on, what's being developed, right? You're ahead of the news. On the XRP ledger, there are a lot of amazing projects on there, but nobody talks about them, right? Like for myself, I spend so much time talking about the US debt clock, right? That you know, and trying to educate people on that matter, you know, trying to connect the dots between that, you know, the script or the, you know, biblical matters that's going on, right? That I can't dive into the side of, hey, going down the rabbit hole and telling everybody and teaching them about the projects inside of the XRP ledger that are so amazing that they're revolutionizing our environment right now. There's projects on there that already have regulated casino coins.
I think I saw that.
There's project.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. There's project that teach you or that pay you to learn about blockchain financial literacy on the XRP ledger. There's a project called Treasury Dollar, or not Treasury Dollar, called Treasury. You know, there's metaverse on there. There's amazing DeFi protocols, right? There's so many great, amazing projects out there that people overlook that are actually not just doing great things, but you know, they're actually increasing in value as people start learning about them, right? People want to talk about getting on the ground level of, hey, how do I get this sub $10 million market cap crypto, right? Well, get involved with the community. There's a lot of them, you know. I just named off a couple of them, you know, that I feel like that are going to 100x, 1000x. I mean, shoot, these things are, you know, if it's as revolutionary as they are, it's like, man, dude, this thing could one easy bet, right, could change your whole entire financial future. And as crazy as that sounds, nothing's impossible in crypto. that has been shown already.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, 14-year-old kid freaking making NFTs and becoming millionaires overnight.
Yeah, no, it's insane. That whole time was insane. It really was.
Yeah.
It was like the Wild Wild West for a little bit.
I mean, it still is.
I mean, yeah, no, like that was like the opening up, like, you know, it really was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to a lot of people, you know, I'm sure you do too. Like, I'm just saying, like, even when we go out and stuff, and it's alarming how many people from their 20s to their 50s plus don't know anything about the tech, even from Bitcoin, from crypto, anything in Web3, really.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like encompass it, it's crazy. A lot of people aren't invested in stuff. A lot of people are just, meh. And it's like going to be a rude awakening for them, I feel like.
I feel like it will. But also, I was having a really good conversation with a good friend of mine the other night, and it made me think about, like, there's going to be multiple generations. The first time that we're going to have, like, not just greatest transfer of wealth is happening for one generation. Like, it makes it seem like that only crypto bros and people that are in crypto are going to make it. And I'm like, no, precious metal people are going to make it too. Like, again, that's how this is like like, I know people personally that have invested in silver for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're holding on to silver.
Mm-hmm.
And when that thing, you know, gets established its true natural or, you know, value, right? When we go on to this, our Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, when gold and silver is legal tender, right? When that happens, silver is going to go to the moon, and all those people that have been holding on to silver and buying silver is just going to be like us people in the XRP army as well. You know?
That's one of the few things I do buy is just like we talk about all the time: gold, silver, and then, you know, XRP, Bitcoin. On the list. But yeah, no,
a diversified portfolio is very important.
100%, especially like, you know, today's times, it's crazy. You know, you never know what's gonna happen. Someone said in the comments earlier about a Black Swan event I saw, and I would even argue, there it is, I would even argue the treaty, the contract not being signed with the Saudis is a Black Swan event, and nobody is talking about it. That's not good news. That is horrible for the I mean, it is good and bad, you know what I mean? Because like you said, we're going into this new age, and this is just all a part of it, essentially.
Correct. Get the petrodollar. Yeah. I mean, that was the only, I mean, besides the full face of the government as people, right? That was the only other thing that was propping up the U.S. Federal Reserve, you know, the petrodollar. And since that thing is gone, it's like, well, dang, what's happened now? Well, this new technology is happening. You know, coincidentally, that day that they announced too that they partnered up with the BIS.
Saudi?
Yeah.
Wow.
For the cross-border payments. I forgot what it was called.
And I saw, no, you know what? And I did see that they're mulling over XRP.
Yeah. They in Dubai, they made it illegal as one of their currencies.
Legal or illegal?
No, legal.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah, it's a legal currency over in Dubai and in the Middle Eastern area.
Wow. That's big.
I mean, it's very friendly in other countries like XRP. I mean, they're just like, hey, you want to know what? We can use it. I mean, the only one that don't like it is, you know.
Yeah. The bloodlines.
Yeah, you know, it's us and the crypto bros, obviously. The crypto bros don't like it.
I love it. You call them crypto bros. That's really what they are.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, I love, you know, some of them get underneath my skin because I'm like, man, I just can't handle it. I mean, this is why I don't like negativity, because at the same time I can, you know, I can get if something triggers me, I'll just snap. And I don't like that. So that's why I'm like, try to be calm. And these crypto bros, they just know how to do that. Like they know how to do that, like, just to trigger me, because I don't want to try. I try to educate them, but sometimes it's hard to, you know, crack the soul.
Yeah, like not listening, like just talking, trying to make money. Really, honestly.
Yeah. And yes, I understand exactly. 100%. And I understand money is a core aspect of our lives, right? We have to, think about money in order to survive, in order to pay our bills and everything. But you don't have to, you have there's another side of it where it's kind of like that spiritual side, right? Like, again, this is where gold and silver is God's money. When you think about, hey, this fiat currency is drooling over it and everything, like, dude, that's not the life that we were bred to live. We were created to be creative creatures. God, created us in his own image, right? And in order for us to tap into that, we had to tap into our third eye and tap into our creativity, right? Everybody is creative in their own way. I believe that, but I also believe that, the powers that be, they control everything, whether it's your mind or whatever, something you put in your body, right? Whether it's something you eat, they're able to manipulate it so that you don't understand that. When people sit here and say, what is your superpower? Right. Well, a good friend of mine told me that she came up with this answer, and I was like, man, I'm still in that answer because it's so good. And my superpower is that I can envision the future because I can take everything and apply it and be like, hey, this is what we have and this is what it's going to be. Now, I can't tell you a timeline, right? I would love to sit here and be like, hey, it is going to be 2025. But for all I know, it could be 2025 that week is the clock reset. But at least for now, just like what I see is like, we have a broken system. There is a solution. Everybody's waking up. Everything is being revealed right now.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And, as much as they can manipulate the system, right? If you have a crack in it and you can't fix that crack, eventually that crack gets bigger and bigger. And that crack already happened.
Yeah. I think
feel like
2020 was like, I always say they did it wrong. The elites, they really woke up more people than, enslaved, in my opinion. Like before 2020, like there weren't people thinking how they're thinking now.
Yeah. Well, I also too believe that like 2020, like they did it because like not just to control, but of course the banking side of things, right? But they handled it in a way that, like you mentioned, helped wake up more people. I feel like that they wanted it was brought out sooner because the banking sector was collapsing so fast, right? It was actually all of it, everything in 2020 was supposed to happen like 2027 or something,
Right.
Which makes sense, right? Because
it does.
they came out with it fast. I was like, holy crap, dude.
I know. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It makes sense with all the 2030 talk, that it was supposed to be 2027 range.
Like it was supposed to be locked down for like 2027 all the way to 2030. And when we get
out of it, like a new world. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like everything, because the banking sector started having having a lot of problems. Major problem that they had to shut down the whole entire system, right, to help inject more liquidity into the markets, to print more money. Like they already knew it was going to be the last hurrah. We printed more money in the past 4 years than ever in human ever. I'm like,
it's crazy.
And you don't think that XRP is not going to be $10,000?
I know, right? Yeah, it's a good point. That's funny.
Like we don't even know how much money's out there. That's how much money is out there.
I know, it's crazy. It really is.
I mean, the U.S. debt clock gives a perfect summary, a great summary of, on a surface level, what we have right in front of us, right? But even on that end, there's still more money on the outside of the outside that's not being calculated, because everything is leverage on top of leverage on top of leverage on top of leverage.
And what happened the other night when the debt clock and everything went to zero?
Oh man, dude.
Chaos. That
Twitter started blowing up.
Yeah, no, it was nuts.
I feel like, in my opinion,
like it happened and they're just not telling us.
Yeah, like the other side, the other ledger. Because remember, again, we have two ledgers, right? But it's like they're signaling to us like, hey, we're ready. Because we have never seen a zero like that.
Across the boards.
Yeah. And even if it was a zero, it never had a slash in it. The zero, like you go on the U.S. debt clock right now, there's not a zero with a slash on it. And people are like, oh, no, it's fake and stuff. And I'm like, nah, bro. letting you know what's about to happen.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
there's nothing by like by accident. You know what I mean? No, it was crazy. It was definitely eerie.
Yeah, because they created that debt-based system that we're in right now.
Mhm.
And again, if we have a conscious understanding of knowing that we're going into new money, right? And what is that new money? Well, it's gold and silver, right? Or it's going to have a backing of gold and silver. Is we understand we're going to introduce technology. Well, what is the technology? It's the blockchain right now, right? That's the new upcoming technology,
Mhm.
right? If we have a conscious understanding of that and apply it to, okay, well, this debt-based system that enslaved us, what can we do if we're resetting the system? What's a system that we can do that actually empowers us? Well, we go into a credit-based system, right? We're taking the system that we have right now, and although it seemed like we're erasing it, which essentially we are, we're actually upgrading it. So we're taking that debt-based system and we're applying it and making it into a credit-based system.
Mhm.
And we're tapping into the credit side of things. Like whenever you have a rental property, right? Whenever you have a rental property, you tap into the credit, right? And then you take that credit and you grow the wealth and buy another rental property.
Mhm.
And you take that, that debt, turn it into credit and make it into another rental property. That's
Exactly,
exactly what we're
Robert
doing right now.
Kiyosaki type of stuff right there. That's like Robert Kiyosaki 101 right there.
Yeah, exactly right there. We're doing that right now. We're turning the debt-based system into a credit-based system.
Mhm.
And we're about to tap into that credit. But in the midst of that tapping into that credit, right, we have all this underlining
Like
assets.
band-aids we have to remove, I feel like,
Yeah, it's a big band-aid.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy, dude. I'm just curious. November's, it's closer than we think. Elections coming. It's gonna get crazy,
Dude, it it's
right? Like,
only halfway through the year. And
I
look at
know
everything that's happened.
it's insane.
I mean, they already had the confirmation that Saudi Arabia joined BRICS.
I know.
If anybody, you don't even have to go back that far in time to know that right there is everything.
Mhm. No, I
Me and
know.
you know that it goes all the way back to the bloodlines. It goes all the way back to the Greek days,
Mhm.
Roman days.
Mhm.
You can go all the way back to the Greek mythologies.
Yep.
I've gone back to all the way to the Greek mythology times too.
Mhm.
Right? Like, holy crap, man. What is gold and silver? Right? Oh, you always have to ask yourself, what is gold and silver? Right?
Mhm.
And that technology, you can even go all the way back into, like you mentioned before, like the Book of Enoch, right?
Mhm.
You can go and think about the Anunnakis, right? As crazy as it sounds, you can think about Nikola Tesla, his technology, right? All of that was suppressed.
Have you heard
Remember,
about the Tartarian Dynasty?
yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
I feel like it's
That
true.
shit's crazy. Yeah, I totally believe it.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean,
thorium, in the US debt clock, it tells us about thorium. That's
mm,
one of the new energies, right?
mm,
That's going to be backed by our new US dollar is going to be backed by. It's
wow.
thorium. And thorium is, it, I made a great video on it. It's like, it's a ball of thorium, not even, no bigger, smaller than a baseball.
Mhm.
This ball of thorium, it costs $100 to mine, and it will power your whole entire life of energy. Just a little ball of thorium.
Hmm.
Now, why would they cover that up from us? Well, I mean, you could
They
always go
make
back
money
to
on that, yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla,
Did
the
you
copper.
have you heard about Nikola Tesla when he passed John Trump, Donald's
Mhm.
uncle? I have the marvelous Baron Trump, the marvelous whatever it's called. I have those books at my house. I'm reading one right now. That shit's crazy. That shit's crazy. Tony doesn't think it looks like him on the cover, Baron, but I think it looks like Baron. You've seen it, huh?
It could be.
Yeah, it's
I,
crazy.
I like it because the book was written by Ingersoll, right?
Mhm.
And it was written in the early
Late
night or
1800s.
before 1900s.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, yep, late, yeah, before the 1900s, which is crazy.
Yeah, and it dictate, going back in time, the journeys, and everything that it's pretty much like what we're going through right now. It's named the last president.
Yeah, the third book, I know. see Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Look at him. It looks like Barron when he was a kid, when he was young.
Hmm.
Yeah.
With the dog.
He had a dog when he was young, Barron?
I don't know.
I'm
sure.
I guess,
Trump
right?
loves dogs.
I mean, if you did, you probably have.
No,
And it could be because we have technology. We don't know what technology we actually have because it's been so suppressed. Remember, ever since 2000, they've been they've been suppressing technology for longer than that, right? But in 2000 was when they put the freaking cap on it. Like, oh my God, the internet! We're controlling everything. We're going to control all the information.
100,000,000%.
And then in 2009, they came out with the Privacy Act in the U.S. where they're surveillancing everything, right? Legitimately, like when you're on your phone, they're not lying to you. It's the Patriot Act, surveillance Act in 2009.
Yep.
They put it out because they said that because of the terrorists, right? But like, they control all of that. But if we can think about like, the technology is so much more advanced than that. It was Brad Garlinghouse references this. He said that we've had this technology, just not even a couple interviews ago. He said that we had this technology for over 50 years. And I'm like, 50 years? I'm like, that's in 1970. That's when we got off the gold standard. That's when the World Economic Forum was created. That's where a lot of stuff has happened. I'm like, so a lot of questions that I asked, but I'm like, this technology's been out here. How advanced really is this technology? I mean, I wasn't even born in 1970. I was born in 88.
No, yeah.
But if you're saying that we've had that technology since the 70s and we're just getting introduced to it?
Yeah, what the hell?
Bro, Ingersoll Lockwood was on point.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's crazy. If someone says, what's the craziest conspiracy theory you believe in? Cookies.
You're loving cookies.
Cookies is right.
Yeah,
It's fine. I mean, they're firing. Oh, and we do have someone also saying Dwayne, I think that is.
Dwayne Coglinton. I have XRP, XLM, and a few other crypto, silver, and gold. I'm just waiting for the tables to start getting flipped. That was on something I was thinking about. Where does XLM kind of fit in correlation to XRP?
Yeah. So, I mean, XRP is like meant for the industries, for the B2B, right? The banks. XLM is going to be a peer-to-peer. I feel like they're focused more on peer-to-peer. They had to, right? That's why that's why they're partners with MoneyGram. They're going to be able to provide liquidity for the everyday person, right? Because again, like we mentioned, there's not going to be one ring that rules them all. There's going to be multiple networks everywhere, right? And it's going to continue to grow and grow more, right? But you can't have, let's just say, for example, the reason why you want it to be like that because it decentralizes the money. Because right now, all the money is centralized. One entity controls not just the ledger, but what the money is, who it transacts with, and everything in between. But we're breaking off like, okay, well, XRP handle the cross-border payments, okay? And like, CBDCs and stuff like that, right? Well, XLM will still have CBDCs too, but they'll be focused on the retail side of things. Then we are able to break off like XDC to handle the trade buy division, right? There's different areas and different divisions that they're all going to be able to do it because then they're able to break it up and decentralize it. Basically, exactly what the Rothschild did. Whenever Mayor Rothschild sent his kids, all 5 children, to different parts of Europe, that's exactly what's going to happen with the money now. We're doing the same thing, but their tactic, but on a blockchain level.
Yeah, know thy enemy. Yeah, that's funny, and use it against them.
Exactly. So it's amazing to think about, to see that. But yeah.
They all look evil too, like from the Rothschilds to the Rockefellers to Klaus Schwab and what's his name? Klaus Schwab. I can't remember the other guy's name. They're all rats. They all look like evil rats, honestly. It's ridiculous. It's like they look like Bond villains.
I mean, yeah. I guess whenever you're worshiping, Satan.
George Soros, that was the guy. Yeah, exactly. When you do worship Satan, you're gonna look like a villain for sure.
Exactly.
100%.
I mean,
have you heard the conspiracy? Speaking of conspiracies, that Justin Trudeau is what's his name's son? Cuba, Fidel Castro's son.
Whoa.
Go look at that. That shit is 100%. 100%.
I haven't seen that, right?
Check that
But
one out.
I'll look
That's a good
into
one.
it. But the conspiracy, there's a question before that said the craziest conspiracy. Mine was the craziest conspiracy is that the real battle of the Germans and the Jews are happening as we speak right now. Or not Germans, but like the real battle of kind of like that kind of like religion type thing is happening right now. Right? Because the Rothschilds are, Jewish, right? Well, remember I referenced a gentleman by the name of Ryan Fruger, who is also a creator of he actually is the inventor of the XRP of Ripple. He created Ripple, and Ryan Fruger, his last name, you look at the Fruger Dynasty, and the Fruger Dynasty was a banking dynasty family that controlled the British banking system, and they controlled majority of the copper in their family. But coincidentally, nobody hears about them, but they got wiped out coincidentally at the same time as Mayor Rothschild coming in and taking over the British.
Coincidentally. And Tony said coincidentally.
Coincidentally, yeah.
I forgot the names of the 3 billionaires at the time or whatever it is, but that's the same story with the Titanic, and how, because that's JP Morgan's ship, if nobody knows. And if you didn't know, he survived because he missed his appointment for the ship. Like he the owner of the ship, no one's gonna wait for him, right? No, I'll take it when you come back around. But there were people who were like way more wealthy than what now, like basically what the Rothschilds and Morgans are today. These people were that back then, and those people were just millionaires. But and they're like, we're going to do this Federal Reserve thing, we're going to control the world, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, get out of here. And they're like, okay, sink the ship, I'll catch the next one.
Yeah, Jekyll Island. Yeah, the creature from Jekyll Island. It's one of the main reasons why, like, it got me like, obsessed with learning about the money. Because everybody loves a good conspiracy and everybody loves drama, right? This is why they put it on TV, right? But when you start learning about it in your own real world and start imagining the possibilities, it kind of like it's crazy, but it's true. Like you think about who the largest bank in the U.S. is, JP Morgan Chase, right? And majority of the mortgages are held by him, right? It was Jacob Asker who owned 40%, or he was the richest man alive at the time. That sank in the ship of
that's the name,
yeah. He owned majority of the mortgages in the U.S. in land.
Yep. And he's probably going to be a really nice country too. There's not going to be any Federal Reserve shit going on here.
Yeah. I mean, they were opposed to it. I mean, you can think about JP Morgan Chase. There's a conspiracy about JP Morgan Chase and Tesla, how the funding of the Tesla towers, right? Whenever JP Morgan found out what the Tesla towers were going to do as far as give on free unlimited energy.
Yeah. And Wi-Fi.
Say what?
And he was doing Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi in the future. I mean, that's Tartarian technology, if you ask me. Like,
yeah,
he definitely came from that world.
Yeah,
I believe Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about days when they still had horses on the road.
I know, and this dude freaking building free electricity towers for the world.
Yeah,
crazy.
Like, you ever think about like the statues, right? Like, go over and look at the statues like in Rome and stuff like that. You're like, there's no way they freaking took chipped it out,
No, there's no way, dude. Right? I know. The perfectly of their like muscle tendons too, and all that. Get the hell out of here. And also the mud flood theory. I don't know if you've heard that with all the buildings. If you like, they've excavated buildings that when you go down, there's so much more room because there's this great mud flood that's a part of the reset. And then also the Great Wall of China supports the Tartarian Dynasty theory, because when you're on the Great Wall of China, the parts that like it's basically opposite. The country of China is here, but like it's protecting inward. Like it's almost like the wall was built. Tartaria built the wall and not China type of thing. You know what I mean? That's another theory with it. It goes deep, and like Christ ruled for those 1,000 years and stuff like that. It gets crazy. You can get lost in the sauce, really.
I mean, I believe that it's happening. Not just on you can look at the technological side of things, right? But even over in China, right? There, it's the year of the dragon, 2024. And, it's not just a year of the dragon, but everything happens simultaneously on a special time where they worship the great empire, or not great, but the great emperor, the great yellow emperor. And he was known for creating the start of 1,000 years of prosperity for China. Right. I forgot what kind of god he was, but it was besides the year, there's another indicator and the reason why they worshipped him. Right. And so if you believe that everything is spiritual, right, everything is done on, like the higher elite, they do things ritually, right, then, I think that other countries do that as well, right? And we almost knew that like this technology, they knew that this technology was going to come in, but they suppressed it for so long. This is why I believe that the whole entire lawsuit is just a whole entire show. It's because, this type of technology was advancing way too quickly, and they weren't ready for it. They gave the central banks, the money handlers, warning, like, "Hey, this is about to happen. We're about to take y'all over. We're about to drop this net over y'all." They try to manipulate the system, try to control it, and everything. Every single time, it's like, no, we got this ground covered, right? Whether it's the media, the news, the data, it doesn't matter. Everybody's getting caught right now. All right. They gave them a chance, an opportunity to, you can call it, just forfeit, repent, but they didn't want to, right? Now the time has come, right? No matter what, this is why there's another community that I became part of, right? But I wasn't part of before, but I became part of them at the Anons. They follow Q, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, of course, yep.
Yeah. So so like, first and foremost, I was never part of that movement, right? I never even knew what it was until last year. Somebody brought it up to me. They're like, "Hey, there's a Q board," and I'm just like, "What's a Q board?" Right? It's another thing of riddles and stuff, Come to find out,
it's insane. Like that QAnon shit, dude. I believe with a lot of stuff, but it's so hard with some things. Like Princess Diana's still alive. Kennedy Jr. His son's alive. He's vice president. It's gnarly. I mean, I could see it happening. I'm one of the people Tony knows. Like, if anyone believes it, it's me. It's just so, you like to say that to someone, they look at me like I'm insane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh yeah. Remember when Hillary, she was going into that van and she collapsed? Yeah. It's because she saw Junior, and he was like, "You're done," and she couldn't believe it. And if I said that to just an NPC out here, they would literally call the cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, for me, it's like it can be that way, right? This is why I don't rule anything out.
Exactly.
But there's that other side. I'm sorry.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
No.
I've went down, dude. I've gone down this. So Sylvester Stallone has an image. Yeah. Rocky. Yeah. He has a photo of him on a plane. He's wearing a QAnon style hat. Okay. And in the background, I'll send you the photo. It's on his Instagram page. Shout out Sylvester, because I think he's a real one, unlike Arnold, sadly, who he just isn't. There's a woman in the background and she's reading a book and it's covering her face, but you can see she has blonde hair. All right. Who does that? Princess Diana? Yeah, that's the photo right there. Yeah. Tony, the producer extraordinaire right here, folks. All right. Tony Materiello, he's single, ladies. You like that one. So in this photo, he's got that hat on, right? But in the background, I know it's blurred right now, but there's a woman going like this. And when she does that hand movement, now type in Princess Diana waving hand. She always waved like this. And it's her same hand. In the book in that photo that she's reading, I forgot the name of it, but it's about a woman who's no, it's not that one. It's like known that she does. Yeah, that's it right there. That thing right there, she does that all the time, apparently. And that's what that lady in the book is doing, like holding the book, covering her face. And the book she's reading is about a woman who marries into a royal family and they're plotting to kill her.
That's crazy.
How insane is that?
You know what they say, nothing is coincidence.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Q is a PSYOP. And that's another, people think that. I'll be honest with you. You're a fanboy of Elon. I respect it a lot. I told you this on our phone call. I think he's Lex Luthor. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Great.
Lex Luthor?
Yeah. And, it's crazy because I don't know how I feel about Trump. I know he'll usher in peace, but man, there's something that just tells me something is going to happen after we have years of peace is all I'm going to say. And I don't know. Like we said, we grew up in the same generation. I'm a 90s baby, early 90s baby. And like, I've just been lied to by the government ever since I was born. So I'm super critical of anyone, really anybody. Like it took me forever to even really listen to certain people. For example, it's always, that's why, I'm so happy that we got to have you and like, we're building a friendship now. It's dope because you're someone I've found on the ethernet and we trust and you give good info and you're one of the good ones. It's hard to find that, you know what I mean? Especially in this space. Everybody's just always trying to get something from someone instead of just helping.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, easy to be able to take advantage of people. And, I've seen the good, the bads, and the uglies of, the crypto space and whatnot. But, and that's what makes me who I am, who I am, right? Like, because it never reoccurred to me about it's the money, right? Like no matter what it is, the money. It's about the money, right? But it never reoccurred like to my head, like, hey, I have to chase the money. It's
not that feeling.
Felt like, hey, as long as I'm doing the right thing, as long as in my heart I feel like, hey, I'm doing what I can and what I feel like that God has, put me on here to do, right? Because I have these special abilities, right? Because to be able to tailor in information, to be able to see this information, to be able to create and craft this video, right? Or how to explain it in a certain way.
How to explain it too. You do a great job.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So, I think about like, okay, as long as it makes me happy, the money's going to come at the end, right? Even people like, this is why you see people that are millionaires, right? Even people that are filthy rich, they still commit suicide, right? Because they don't have happiness. If you're not happy with yourself and you're happy in your core, then no money in the world is going to make you happy. You can chase Lambos, women, you can do everything. You can, yes, money can help create a environment.
Exactly. It could help aid in becoming happy for sure.
Yes, but it doesn't create the happiness, right? And happiness is ultimately, giving back, sharing knowledge, not gatekeeping, helping individuals, right? Of course, we have to have, you have to make money in order to survive, right? This is why I don't have, hey, I have this course, right? No, I have an affiliate link. You want to click on my affiliate link? I'm here to share it. If you're a new business owner and you're looking to get into crypto and you're trying to, that, that the evolutionary technology is going to move into crypto, then I have an affiliate link to a company that helps you accept transactions in crypto. I have that affiliate link. I have that partnership with them, gold and silver, right? with that being said, right, I try to come at it in a way that to help people to, help understand it, just help understand where I lie at, right? Because anybody can create a meme coin, especially right now in this environment, and pump the sucker to the moon, right? I could be a TikTok bro and just create a Solana meme coin and just pump the sucker to the moon, right? But I also do understand that, regulations coming in, right? They've been here, right? I'm not trying to be dumb about this. If I think you got to think to yourself, and what I tell other people is like, are you smarter than AI? Because if you think you're smarter than AI, right, then that means you're smarter than Elon. That means you're smarter than all of these guys that are creating this technology. Which I'm gonna tell you right now, the reason why we're in the position we're in right now, right? But we have an opportunity to use that, tools and technology to get out of it,
Yeah.
right? But for the most part, you do it in an honest way. Do it in a way that, hey, you're not, trying to just take advantage of your brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
right?
There's too many culture vultures out there. That's what we call them, culture vultures out there that are just really don't care from, making energy drinks, Paul Brothers, Logan Paul specifically, that's hurting people, to having an NFT that, or a NFT that's done nothing. You just take everybody's money. These people don't care. They don't care about you. They just care about making money, really. Like, they're a part of the machine, really, is how I look at them. So it's always good to find people like you, like us as well. We're not on the sense of educating on like that. This show, for example, bringing you on is our form of helping to educate people. Our content is all conscious content. We're not just here saying stupid stuff and doing stupid things. We're really thinking about who's viewing our stuff from all ages, because we have young, kids even that sometimes tune in our stuff because we make films and everything like that. But it's good that we get to meet and through the internet. Honestly, that's a beautiful part about technology. It's like we got to meet because of it. You know what I'm saying? And if we didn't have this, we wouldn't be doing this right now. So there's the positive of it, but the negative is, obviously so many things, but there are a lot of positives. I love the movie Ready Player One. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like that's what we're on. We're on that type of let's win, let's get ownership of this, and let's put balance back in the world. You know what I mean? On some Avatar shit.
Yeah. I mean, we're going into the metaverse 100%, like Star Wars, right? V from Vendetta,
Oh my
like
God.
all of those movies against the resistance. Like we were the resistance.
Yeah.
We sided with the resistance,
100%.
like again, nothing can stop what is coming. There, you can't stop technology. They try to suppress it for so long. Now it come to a point where they have to unveil it, see how it really is, right? There's the comment. Say what?
Sorry, see how people react too.
Exactly. There's a comment from Cookies that said Q is a psyop, and I'm like, everything's a psyop. Everything in the world is a psyop. You just have to use your discernment.
Exactly.
The
discernment is such a crazy muscle that people underestimate to build. Honestly, because it'll lead you astray. You'll be following Joel Osteen thinking you're going to heaven.
Yeah, right.
I knew you'd love that one. Houston, baby. Are you? So you're a Houston guy. Also, are you a Jason David Frank fan? Do you know who he is?
Jason David Frank?
Yeah.
Power Ranger.
Dude, yeah. Great job. That's
Green Ranger, yeah.
Dude, that's the rest in peace, the homie. He's a childhood hero of mine, dude. Right before I met you, dude, I had long hair down to my back, dude. All the way down here. I swear, because of Jason, and we met him, and he passed a couple weeks after that. And if anybody's watching, honestly, go watch Mighty Morphin Power Plumbers, because that was made in honor of him. And anytime I hear someone from Houston, I always think of him. He was better than the character, is all I could say. Like, you love Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger. Jason David Frank was way better. It's crazy. But anytime I hear someone from Houston, I always got to see if they know the GOAT.
Of course.
That's dope. That's dope, bro. I mean, dude, I want to do this again. I would love to, like, in a couple weeks or maybe even a month or whatever is best for you. I had a great time. I could do this again, really. Like, and it doesn't have to be XRP. It could be another topic, world issues type stuff. you know.
I mean, things are changing as very, very quickly. So we'll have something to talk about for sure.
Cool. We got to definitely
No
talk
doubt about it.
out. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this conversation has been very great. You know,
Yeah.
hopefully everyone in the audience has been very enlightened by the information because, yeah, although it's a very dark world out there, there is positivity on the other side.
And
Now,
good people.
yes, there are.
And good people. You know, there
Yeah.
are. I know, you know, we come across a lot of bad people, but this is an example that there are good people.
There are. And the technology is actually going to help us. You know, I mean, I know that me and you, we had to,
I was going to just say, because you said the technology is going to help us, and it literally just popped in my head, like all the fear mongering that they've done with movies on how AI and tech is going to kill us and be the end of it. So it's funny. It literally just popped in my head. I'm like, oh my God, they've been brainwashing us to be scared of this tech.
Terminator,
Yeah.
iRobot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Because that is it's definitely an outcome that could happen, but like, we're not going to let it.
No.
The resistance. You know what I mean?
This is why we have to have blockchain.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. It's like, if you understand that, okay, well, AI is coming, you can't stop that, right? How do you control AI? Right? Well, first and foremost, you can't have it in the hands of the wrong people. We've seen it happen.
They're showing us what's gonna happen. We're seeing what's gonna happen. We're gonna be in like some crazy world where everything's dead and everyone's plugged in. Like,
hey, I'll do everything I can to make it out. I can't.
Hell no, I know exactly. I know.
Oh
exactly.
man,
No.
but
Michael's like Cypher in the Matrix.
Yeah, right.
I choose the Matrix.
Yeah, right. So I know a lot of ciphers for sure who would gladly take that.
Yeah, in the
stake.
mirror.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm Neo in this whole entire thing.
100%
through my journey. I would tell people out, I'm like, yo, on a biblical side, I'm like, I'm Amos from the book of Amos. I'm like, yo, bro, everybody come here.
Yeah.
Get away from there. Get away from that dirty money right there. Come over here.
Yep.
You know, follow me to the promised land, yo.
Yeah, hell yeah. And where can people find you, man? Because I know, you know, you're all over the place, but are you also on Instagram and stuff, or just
so I do have an Instagram, but you know, I don't really post on there quite as often. Majority of the time I'm either on TikTok or I'm on X.
Cool.
Gratefully, I transitioned over to X, so I spent
tell them what happened. Tell people what happened because it sucks. Like that's annoying that happened to you.
Yo, man, got to 144,000 followers right after a year and a half of just grinding this freaking social media platform, which I did it in a year and a half building a crypto platform and bringing people awareness to the truth about the monetary system. In a year and a half, I was able to go from nothing to having over 144,000 followers, right? And all during a bear market. Keep in mind, I'm talking about XRP, the crypto that doesn't move.
Yeah.
Because I told myself that if I was going to go and do this, I was going to want to be one of the top creators as far as like having people's attention. But I didn't want to be a crypto bro. I didn't want to be like, hey, buy this cryptocurrency because it's going to 100x. Even though, yes, I do use that as a clickbait, right? But more so, like I'm like, no, it's gonna 100x because this is what it's doing. This is the reason why, you know.
And you have a slogan that they don't have.
Yeah, I actually went through my. This is a great because I have a new TikTok, right? I've been uploading all my old content, and one of my oldest videos I brought up is where I clap at people. This is why a lot of people, I wouldn't say fear me, but they cautiously watch out for me because. Again, remember how I told you that?
No, I actually saw you call out some freaking crypto bro. I remember this. You like,
I'm known for that,
bro. Blah 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 blah. I was like, hell yeah, shut this dude up. He annoys me.
There's quite a few of them, right? Because like, if you clap at me, right, you know, or not, if you get underneath my skin, you know, I can get lit up, but I do it in a creative way to a point that I use my editing.
You channel that anger energy, and instead of doing some dumb shit, you do some awesome creative stuff and get back at them. Yeah, yeah.
So the crypto bros hate that because they don't, and I call it my wall of shame, right? Because I have it on a playlist.
Oh, that's
keep
awesome.
burning these guys.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
That's
Because
dope.
yeah, because it's like you know, whenever again, you can't get me off this pedestal no matter what. Like I'm so far into this sucker, like I'm ball deep into, you know, the information of gold, silver, XRP, the monetary system, the bloodline. Like you can't get me, you can't get a lot of the people that I rock with off of it, right? The only thing again, we just got to make it onto the other side. When this switch happens, I have no idea. But when they say that the end is not meant for everyone, they're not lying, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
The
a
path
lot of
is narrow.
huh?
The path is narrow.
It very, very narrow, very narrow.
Yeah.
Again, even if you have money, you make it onto either side, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to comprehend it. Because if we're about to go, you know, 1,000x of like the technology, right? You're talking about our parents, my mom at least. My mom, she uses the smartphone and she doesn't even know how to use a smartphone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, or her grandparents, right?
Mhm.
That's how a lot of these people are going to be to this new technology.
Yeah,
You're talking about, you know, my son knows about NFTs. My son understands how NFT works. Not only understands it, but how it's implemented into video games, right? What are cryptocurrencies? Keep in mind, my son is 9 years old. You know, you have people out here that are talking about decentralized financing that's not even out of high school yet. You know, it's like they're already on that level. Like they're already there. A lot of us, like, you know, I don't want to sit here and say a lot of us are going to get left behind, but that's the true nature and matter of it. That's why it's very important for people to educate themselves or to seek education on it. Right? Don't be dumb about it. Right?
Yeah.
Don't just go balls to the walls. And you know, you can be a degen if you really want to. I mean, I've met several people that have degen in the projects, and you know, that's what got them into crypto. Right? But just weigh out the risk to reward ratio. Right? Because again, after every reward, there's a risk that has to be taken. You know, whether that risk is small or large is completely up to you, right? But it all narrows down to your conviction, your information that you studied and you understand within the network. You know, people. This is why I read with so many people, right? I'm not just blockchain, right? I love crypto. I understand it. I understand where it's going, but I also understand gold. I understand silver. I understand the real monetary system. So I'm able to tap into different communities. Right. I understand the conspiracy side because I went down that rabbit hole. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Before 2020, you would have asked me about Titanic. You would have asked me about the Rothschilds. I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to lie to you. But
yeah,
2020 has been an acceleration of me just learning everything very fast. And I just constantly just sit here and just learn. And I communicate and talk to other individuals that are on a higher level too as well. Coach JV is a good friend of mine, right? And he's on the highest spiritual, you know, he's one of the oracles.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he is his own architect. He created his own reality, right? And there's many of them that are out there, you know. So for me, it's like, you know, being able to tap in to talk to them, it helped me understand like where, you know, and give conviction on what's going on.
Exactly.
And what
help navigate. Navigate. Like, I mean, it's very important to have that. It really is.
Exactly. And so for me, it's like, you know, everybody has their own role in this whole entire world of ours, right? Some people are naturally good at being in front of a camera. Some people are naturally good at organizing, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm terrible at organizing, right? This is why one of the reasons why me and my ex-wife didn't work out was because I'm terrible at organizing the pantry. I just throw shit from the grocery store. I'm like, here, throw it in there.
Yeah. That's so funny.
But for the most part, you know, I think outside the box, right? You know, I don't like it's structured as things are, right? For me, the other side is like, because I'm not as structured, I'm able to explore out to other places. I'm like, hey, I'm a butterfly, right? And I just like to freely go around the places, you know. So it helped me expand my mind and my knowledge of my greater undertaking that I've at least gone through of my side, and how I was able to learn so fast. Again, I didn't, you know, the bloodlines, right? The Orsinis, right?
Yeah,
I didn't know about that until a few months ago.
That's crazy. No, that is because I mean, me personally, they know. I mean, since 17, 18.
Yeah.
That's when I started like diving deep and just dang. So honestly, I'm really excited about these times because think about someone like me who's known stuff for like, you know, years, dude, years. And you can't talk to anybody about it really. There's only very few people who could even fathom what the hell you're speaking. Like literally go to an insane asylum type. They would think back then too. Now it's like they're aliens. People are accepting aliens now, you know, when if you want the truth, those are demons, but that's a whole nother episode. Because people aren't ready for that. But no, dude, it's great. I mean, that's a great sign though, because it gives me hope that like, you know, someone at any moment could just wake up and then they could get caught up quick, you know?
You just have to be open-minded to it. That's all it is. Like, just have faith, right? Remain positive, have faith, continue to, you know, if you don't necessarily have to grind, but you just have to grind to open your mind more. That's in my opinion, the how I see. Like I'm just constantly learning because there's so much to learn. But now that it never ends. It never ends. Like, hey, just when you think you learned, there's more to learn.
It's insane. It really is insane.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It really, there's no dull. There's like Tony always says this, it's never a dull moment.
No. And this is why because we live in two separate worlds right now, right? I can jump from one world to another world, right? I can jump to the Matrix, and then I can jump out of the Matrix and go to blockchain and hang out in the blockchain, the crypto bros and DeFi, be a degen, right? Or I can jump out and go back to the Matrix, go play in the stocks, go, you know, teach people and learn, you know, tell people about gold and silver. When I get tired of that, I go back over to the degen side of things, go hang out in the metaverse, right?
Yeah. Sick.
So again, we're having two separate worlds, and you know, again, it makes me, you know, very blessed to be in the position I'm in because all that information I share all over the US debt clock and to Gemotria, I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't live in two separate worlds and didn't envision the future, right? And I'm very happy to be able to be on the show, to be able to give to your audience, like, hey, there is light at the end of the tunnel, right? Now, forget the price. Forget the price of any asset right now, because that, whatever the price is right now, it's not what it's going to be here in the near future. I won't even say in the far future, in the near future, because the switch has to take place. The system is collapsing as we speak.
Yeah, literally.
Legitimately.
Right now.
Legitimately, it's collapsing as we speak. I'm like, I'm over here. This is what you go to your norm, right? The normies, the NPCs, you tell them, hey, the system's collapsing. They're like, no, man, stop. The S&P 500 is all-time high.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah. Like there's people I've talked to that don't think we're in a recession even. And it's like, dude, where do you talk the recession? We're in a depression. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, we you know, people don't want to believe that we're in a hyperinflationary environment. And I'm like, yeah, we've been in a hyperinflation. You know, what, eggs or orange juice? Orange juice is up 400% in just the past 2 years. I'm like,
we haven't had orange juice, Tony.
Yeah, that's right.
Has everybody's pay gone up 400% in the past 2 years?
Absolutely not.
If not, then we're in a hyperinflationary environment.
Yeah. No, it's insane, dude.
And they want to deny it because that's what they tell us. They say, oh, it's only up 2% for the year over year. No, it's not. Your CPI, you get to pick and choose what's on CPI, homie. You know, we're up damn near total CPI, right? Consumer Price Index is which measures inflation, right? And again, they get to pick and choose what CPI is. We're up almost 1,000% since 1960.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Like, this is where you need to start questioning the system itself. Then you're like, why isn't gold and silver and some of these assets, have they gone up in price? Well, it's because they manipulate the system, right? They have these contracts out on it. But again, if you believe that we're going to go back to gold and silver, and we're going to use the backing of these technologies to mint this real world assets, okay, think about all the money that's been printed, and it had to come over to this new, because that whatever money that's printed, it had, again, even though it will go away, the value is still going to be there. So that value has to move over to a new network or to a new monetary system,
Right.
Upgrade the system. How much money is that? It's endless.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, gosh, like forever.
Yeah. So
no, I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, I actually have one question. Some advice you'd give to a young you. Last question.
To a young me?
Yeah, like a young you, if you could talk to yourself. Time travel, as we were saying.
Man. Never give up. Like, for real. Like,
Yeah.
as hard as it is to continue doing you know, I mean, I never really thought about that question. I mean, it's a really, really good question, you know? I mean, you know, I've been through some really tough times in my life, but I wouldn't have changed anything, you know. I just continue to do it, because if I didn't go through what I went through in my life, I wouldn't be manifesting what I am right now.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't be who you are.
Exactly. But I mean, if anything, if I go back in time and just be like, hey, just keep faith, even during the hardest times, just stay faith, because I've been down that route of, you know, depression, sadness, and hatred and all that stuff. And that's not the way. That's not the way, you know? Yeah. Just find that light, you know, find that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel and just tap into that. Right. Because these times are very uncertain, and eventually the veil will be lifted. History repeats itself. Right. Or if it's not repeating itself, it tends to rhyme. The Bible, the story has been written for us right now, you know, like, you know, the story has been written for us. This is the greatest story ever told. We are living through biblical times. We're about to close this book. We're at the end of the book, and we're going to open up a new book. We're going to open up a new movie. It's, you know, it's going to be, again, hyper, you know, quantum leap.
Yep.
But only advice I would give is just, hey, never give up. Just, you know what you hold, right?
Yeah. Exactly, dude. Oh, and that's actually, how'd you come up with the slogan? We didn't ask. Were you just like, blah, blah, blah? No.
Okay, yeah, no. This is so remember how I was clapping that? I was telling you that I made all those Stitch videos and clapping at those haters. So there was this one in particular hater where I went back and watched my videos the other day, and it was like probably like my 10th or 12th video on TikTok I made. And I just drilled in on him. And I was just like, you don't know what you hold. You don't know the monetary system about to collapse. Okay. You don't know that inflation is happening. You don't know about gold and silver. You don't know about distributed ledger technology. You know, I'm just drilling on him. Like, we know what we hold. This is why we have confidence in, you know, holding on even during the toughest time. It doesn't matter if this price is 50 cents or is it $200, right? We're going to still hold on to this asset because we know that this is the liquidity that the world needs in the future. They have a lack of liquidity. They have a lack of money supply. As long as you have a conscious understanding of how the monetary system works, and you know how it holds. I was drilling in on this dude on this video, and that's how it all started. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're just like, know what you just knew for the next video. I'm going to end it with that.
I didn't know that. To be honest with you, I started just using that as like, hey, you don't know what you hold. Hey, you know, and then it evolved, right? Because then it's like, it started out XRP. Then it's like, oh, well, do you know what you hold as far as your gold and silver? You know what gold and silver really is. Okay, do you know what you hold in your brain, right? That third eye. Do you know what you hold in your consciousness, right? It can be used in so many different factors that I was just like, man, dude, I love this catchphrase. It's so cool.
It's great.
Yes.
That's definitely the back tattoo, and the chest tattoo is the XRP logo.
Right?
Yeah, dude. You're just like, and then you turn around, it's like, you don't have to say anything.
Man.
But yeah, so you're echoed the truth on X and TikTok, right? Okay, just want to make sure. Cookie saying, let's go. Josh B in the house. We love Josh B.
He said, by the way, his income hasn't even increased by 2%.
Yeah. Josh. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. I see everybody in here, and we really hope that you guys had as good of a time as we did, because I know we had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
I learned a lot, and we're definitely going to do this again. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you follow our man, and really thank everybody. We appreciate you. And you want to close us out?
Yeah. This is why it's so important to know what you hold. Let's go.